Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 61 Son Goku's Lost Love. Duck Neck. What the hell is Duck Neck? Beerus' mouth twitched slightly, and he looked at Lewis. Don't talk about other things, did you go to the fourth universe? An absurd guess suddenly popped up in his mind. Did Lewis kill? Lewis was silent, took 2 steps forward, turned around and said, yes, I killed Quitella. Boom. Beerus' pupils shrank sharply, and his mind was greatly shocked. He was insulting Quitella some time ago, but he didn't expect that today Luis would really kill Quitella. Master Beerus is blaming me. Lewis frowned when he saw Beerus's incredulous expression. That's not right. Doesn't that dead rat have a grudge against him? He killed Quitella, the cat should be very happy. Sudden. Ha ha ha. Blame you. Why should I blame you? Ha ha ha. I've been wanting to kill that damn rat for a long time, but I didn't expect you, Lewis, to kill him for me. Great job. Beerus was dancing by the lake like a lunatic. Whis. Lewis. The two looked at each other. Whis, is Lord Beerus crazy? Probably not. Then why does he do these ugly moves? Lord Beerus must be crazy. The graphics in the Gods of Destruction world are too shocking, with a purple cat doing a disgusting dance. Finally, Lewis and Whis couldn't bear it anymore, so they left the Gods of Destruction world and went to Earth. Zeno Palace. Father, I'm back. Koz walked into Zeno's palace, but Zeno was still not there. The Grand Priest was at the bottom of the palace, looking at Kessie who came in. Well, it's good that you're back. Father, why did you ask me to stop Lewis before? Not only was Lewis confused, even Kess herself was confused. Cough cough cough. Grand Priest blushed and coughed twice. I just wanted Quitella to give Lewis a training, but I didn't expect Quitella to be so ignorant and actually colluded with the Dark Demon world. Wouldn't it be better to just be an experience pack? Finally, the Grand Priest shook his head and added another sentence. Kess was dumbfounded. This turned out to be the truth. Then I'll let Luis kill Quitella, Master Zeno. This is Master Zeno's order. Quote. Earth. Whis and Lewis couldn't stand Beerus's craziness, so they came back here. Brother-in-law. In the yard, Bulma was holding Ty's arm. When she saw Lewis coming back, she pulled Ty's over and said hurriedly. Brother-in-law, where are Vegeta and Goku? Yeah, where did they go? During the time Ty's has been back on Earth, she has become quite familiar with the Z fighters. I'm going to learn a magical secret technique. Lewis walked over to Ty's and hugged her tightly. Bulma rolled her eyes. They were showing off their affection again, But, after getting the news from Vegeta, she could finally feel relieved and left the yard. As for Whis, he came here and ran to Ty's restaurant early. What's wrong with you? Ty's noticed that something was wrong with Lewis's mood, so she reached out her hand and gently smoothed his frown. It's okay, it's just a dead rat that irritated me, I'm a little tired. Lewis leaned his head on Ty's shoulder, smelling the subtle fragrance she exuded, and his heart became calm. Tazy patted the boy on the back, shook her head and said with a smile, you're the candidate Gods of Destruction. If someone provokes you, can't you just kill him? Mainly because I saw Lewis's irritated expression, I felt very distressed. Hearing Ty's words, Lewis looked up, held her delicate little face in his hands and kissed her. Can't we just kill him? Lewis looked at her beautiful eyes and laughed. I didn't expect my sister Tazy to be so murderous. Whenever someone provokes you, you will destroy them directly. Tazy and Lewis looked at each other, angry and amused. After following you for so many years, my heart has long been colder than the knife used to block fish. As long as you are happy. Ty's touched his head. Lewis's heart was beating wildly. Ty's words were too unfair. Oh my God. Sister Tazy, I'm so touched. Lewis snuggled into Tazy's arms. Get out of here. Tazy was speechless. What a big boy who never grows up. Okay. Lewis pretended to be sad and crawled out of Ty's arms. Next second. I told you to go away, so you really went away, come back here. Ty's pressed Lewis's head back into her soft place and hugged him tightly. In the yard, the two of them hugged each other like this, and time seemed to have stopped at this moment. Lewis's heart was calmer than ever before. After a while. By the way, there is a girl looking for Kakarot. Tazy followed her husband's lead and called him Son Goku the same way Lewis did. Who? Lewis let Ty's go, hugged her, and they both lay down on the beach chairs. It seems to be called Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi. Lewis shot up from the beach chair, grabbed Taisy's shoulders, and asked hurriedly, Taisy, is the 23rd world number? One martial arts tournament on Earth over. You mean the martial arts tournament last year? Their fights weren't good to watch at all, and the Namek guy was still the champion in the end. Taisy had been to Namek, so she had naturally seen what the Namek people looked like. Last year, Lewis finally remembered the timeline of Dragon Ball. That's right. It was last year, when Son Goku was supposed to participate in the 23rd Tenkaichi martial arts tournament after completing his training in the Celestial Realm. Son Goku will meet Chi-Chi at the martial arts tournament. In the final, Son Goku will meet Piccolo, and then Son Goku will win the championship. But in fact, Son Goku did not participate in the 23rd Tenkaichi martial arts tournament, but was taken to King Kai to train Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. Son Goku was even taken to Namek by the Millennium runner-up this year. Son Goku also successfully broke through to the Super Saiyan state due to Bardock's death. I didn't expect that Kakarot's lost love would come to me on its own. Lewis grumbled inwardly. Chapter 62 Understanding the Rules of Time. After getting the news from Chi-Chi, Lewis would certainly not let the love of that fool Son Goku disappear just like that. After all, the strongest individual fighter in Dragon Ball hasn't been born yet. Finally, Lewis asked Taisy to let Chi-Chi stay in the manor and asked Taisy to tell Chi-Chi more common sense about the universe. Lewis is trying to change Chi-Chi's mind that studying is the way out. Let's see if we can make Son Gohan the strongest single fighter. Tais naturally did everything Lewis said. In the following time, Son Goku and Vegeta practiced instant transmission on the planet Yadrat, while Chi-Chi and Bulma were waiting for them at home. Taisy finds the right opportunity every day to find Chi-Chi whenever she has time and tells Chi-Chi about the dangers she encountered in the universe before. Only with strong force can you survive from danger. In addition, Taisy also gave Chi-Chi some common knowledge about the gods in the universe. Angel ideographic gods of destruction, Hubu gods of destruction. All these priesthoods were narrated to Chi-Chi. The above-mentioned gods want to destroy the planet, and mortals cannot resist without strong power. Chi-Chi trembled when she heard this. She finally realized that studying was useless. Finally, Chi-Chi made up her mind that she would train the child she and Son Goku had in the future. Not to mention training her child to be able to protect her and Son Goku, but at least let her child have the power to protect himself. After Lewis knew Chi-Chi's idea, he hugged Taisy and kissed her madly for half an hour, and kissed his sister Taisy until her mouth was swollen. There is hope that the strongest single entity will appear. Chi-Chi changed her mind, and Lewis finally left Tai's estate. He came to heaven again. God, as usual, please lend me your spiritual time house. Under the respectful gaze of the gods, Lewis walked into the temple. Walk down the corridor. Enter the spirit time room. We're back here again. Lewis sighed. He practiced here for 5 years last time and successfully broke through to the first level of the divine realm. It was also at that time that he was able to successfully perform erase. Fortunately, I have cultivated enough strength to support the use of erasure, otherwise the subsequent journey to the Dark Demon world would be disastrous. The Dark World left a deep impression on Lewis, and he still can't forget it. 12 demon kings fighting together. The old witches move. And Demi-Cooler wanted to kill Whis. Especially the last one. He almost killed Whis, and Lewis couldn't stand that. Now that he's back here, Lewis wants to become even more powerful, just to be able to destroy Demi-Cooler one day. This time, in addition to cultivating strength, he also has to continue to complete the goals that he failed to accomplish here last time. That is to understand other rules through erasure. For example, rules of time, space, light, darkness, etc. Then let's start with understanding the rules of time. The rules of time are mysterious and unpredictable, which is Lewis's best choice if he wants to make great progress in a short period of time. Time can be fast-forward, paused, and rewound. Of course, this is just the most basic use of time. Lewis recalled the fantasy novel he had read in his previous life, which said that one could cross the long river of time and return to the most primitive time to kill evil. If he was well versed in the rules of time, he might be able to do this. Lewis finally started practicing. First, he concentrated the power of erasure in the palm of his hand. When this power appeared, the entire spiritual time house was shaking. Soon, strands of invisible and intangible rules leak out from the erasure in the palm of the hand. Lewis closed his eyes and began to comprehend. Time flies, and a month has passed in the spiritual time house. What is time? The erasing power in Lewis's palm dissipated, and the invisible and intangible rules around him also disappeared. Because of the concentration of erasure, Lewis tried his best to lie on the ground. He spent a month comprehending it, but he couldn't even recognize the rules of time. How can I comprehend this? Lewis looked at the sky and couldn't help complaining that his talent was too weak. When I think about it, it seems like every time he practiced, every time he made a breakthrough, it was because of the system. Immunity. The prototype of the state of freedom. Super Saiyan. Erase. He only has these because of the system. System, is my talent very bad? Lewis stretched out his hand towards the white sky, as if the system was in the sky. After a while, alas, it turns out that my talent is too poor. The system ignores me. Open black lens bracket, no close black lens bracket. What? Lewis was stunned, and he finally heard the electronic sound again. Host, if your talent is weak, no one will be stronger than you. Closing square bracket. Quote. Immunity is part of your constitution, and erasure is also your power. Closing square bracket. Your power was able to break through because you have been practicing. I just helped you break through when you reached a bottleneck. It doesn't mean that I will directly give you this power. What? Lewis regained some strength, got up from the ground, and was stunned. What kind of immunity is my constitution? What do you mean erasure is my power? System, what do you mean by this? Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. The system was silent and said nothing more. Is it possible that I have this kind of power? Do I really have any relationship with Zeno? No, I said that person is not you. You have nothing to do with Zeno. You are not anyone else. You are just you. Closing square bracket. This time the system finally spoke again. Lewis was angry and threw his hands at the sky. What do you mean by this? After a long time, the system stopped talking. Lewis swung his arms even harder this time. Sudden, a light bulb went off in his head. He watched himself swing his arms. One left, one right. Once you have done something, you can never go back. Just like time once passed, it can never come back. Got it. Lewis no longer cared about the system's riddles, and sat cross-legged and began to meditate. As Lewis fell into deep meditation, wisps of transparent rules began to emerge. He was able to re-understand the rules of time in just 1 month. How can this be called weak? Closing square bracket. The system grumbles. Another year has passed. Lewis has been practicing in the spirit time house for more than a year and a month, which is a little more than a day in the outside world. Buzz. The transparent rules hovering over Lewis gradually solidified, from quantitative change to qualitative change. Silver light rises into the sky. The entire spiritual time house was shaking, and the area where Lewis was located was experiencing time disorder. Next second. Stop it. The silver light on Lewis's body suddenly burst out. Crash. The time of the riot was affected by the time aura on Lewis's body and calmed down instantly. Gurgle. Lewis swallowed. I really understood the rules of time from erasure. Ha ha ha. Then can I also comprehend the rules of space? Lewis smiled happily. Chapter 63 Cooler. Speaking of space rules. As far as Lewis knows, there seem to be few people in Xeno universe who are proficient in the rules of space. If there is one, Lewis knows of Supreme Kai. Supreme Kai can travel freely within this universe, and can even go directly to Xeno's palace. It's just that you can't go to other universes. In addition, Lewis also knows a god who is very proficient in space. No, it should be said that he is very proficient in time and space. The legendary Supreme Kai of Time. Rather than saying that the Supreme Kai of Time is proficient in time and space, it would be better to say that she directly controls time and space. Only. Lewis traveled to the Dragon Ball world. He had never seen this god, nor even heard of the name of Supreme Kai of Time. After this training, he would go out and ask Whis if there was such a god in the Dragon Ball world. Lewis continued to practice. It has only been more than a year since he entered the Spirit Time Chamber. Speaking of the rules of space, Lewis naturally wanted to understand it. Once you understand the rules of space, you may be able to fuse it with the rules of time to form the rules of space and time. Then he will be another person who comprehends the rules of time and space after the Supreme Kai of Time. North Galaxy, Galactic Headquarters. It has been a year since Frieza's death. During this year, Saiyan obeys the orders of King Vegeta. In addition to carrying out daily tasks issued by the Galactic Patrol, they would spend the rest of their time practicing in the gravity chamber that they asked the Galactic Patrol to help build. Just so that I can successfully transform into a Super Saiyan one day. Especially King Vegeta, Beerus, Theodore, and Raditz and Nappa. They are all senior fighters and undergo devilish training every day. After King Vegeta was resurrected by Whis, his strength broke through 1 million combat power. Now, a year later, it has soared directly to 2 million combat power. Beerus and Theodore have similar strength, and his combat power has also increased from 600,000 to 1 million. Raditz and Nappa did not recover from their near-death experience, although they were still undergoing devilish training. But their improvement is not great. Raditz, 600,000 combat power. Nappa, 700,000 combat power. As for Bardock, besides Son Goku and Vegeta, Bardock is the #1 warrior of the Saiyan clan. Except Broly, of course. During this year, Bardock's combat power increased from 2 million to 4 million. The magnitude of the surge is extremely exaggerated. The remaining Saiyans all have a combat power of over 100,000. Saiyan has undergone such a change, it is obvious that his S-cells have begun to awaken. This day, Jack hurried into the lobby of the Galactic Patrol headquarters and came to the top floor office. Jack said in panic, "Galactic King, it's bad, the cooler forces from the Eastern Galaxy are attacking our Northern Galaxy." Hearing what Jack said, the giant octopus trembled in his chair. "What? Cooler?" The Galaxy King stood up suddenly and looked at Jack intently. Speaking of the strongest boss in the 7th universe in the early stage, besides Frieza, there is actually Frieza's older brother. Compared to Frieza, Cooler is more powerful. In the anime movie, when Cooler invades the Earth, he transforms into his ultimate state, with a combat power of over 400 million. It's over, it's over. Cooler must have known that Frieza was killed, so he came here to grab the territory. What to do? The Galaxy King paced back and forth anxiously. According to investigation, the entire Ice Clan has always been in disharmony, so the Ice Clan leader King Cold separated Frieza and Cooler early on. Frieza is in charge of the Northern Galaxy. Cooler is in charge of the Eastern Galaxy. King Cold is in charge of the Southern Galaxy. One person rules a galaxy. Now that Frieza is gone from the North Galaxy, Cooler must have set his sights on this place. Ginga King, don't we still have the Saiyan clan? They've become even more powerful since defeating Frieza. They can definitely repel Cooler. Jake said excitedly, maybe we can even kill Cooler. Jack, you've been staying in the Northern Galaxy, you have no idea how powerful Cooler is. The Galaxy King looked at Jack, shook his head and said, Cooler is Frieza's older brother, his power is not comparable to Frieza's. Don't even think about asking the Super Saiyan who killed Frieza to take action. Even if there are more Super Saiyans like him, they will definitely not be a match for Cooler. No way, isn't it said that Super Saiyan is the nemesis of the Ice Clan? Jake was stunned. I don't know if he is the nemesis or not, but I know that Cooler's power is very terrifying. Maybe we need to ask the candidate gods of destruction to take action. Having said that, the King of the Galaxy shook his head again. The candidate gods of destruction are in charge of destruction. How could such gods be in charge of everything in the universe? The North Galaxy has finally stabilized, we can't let the Frozen Clan get involved again. The Galaxy King looked closely at Jack and said, Myers is not here. Now we have no other choice except Saiyan. Go and tell King Vegeta about this. Yes. After Jack left the Galactic Patrol, the news quickly spread throughout the Galactic Patrol headquarters. The Galactic Patrol headquarters was thrown into panic. Fortunately, there are still the Saiyan clan. King Vegeta got the news and immediately ordered Bardock to lead the Saiyans' high-end combat forces. The other Galactic Patrolmen felt relieved when they saw this scene. The Saiyan clan is already the strongest force of the Galactic Patrol. I believe that with them taking action, they will surely return triumphantly. King Kai Star. It's over, it's over. Frieza's death actually alerted Cooler. The North Galaxy is doomed now. No, we need to inform Son Goku and Vegeta quickly. Supreme Kai World. Oh no, Ancestor, come and have a look, something is going to happen in our universe. What happened? The Frozen Clan is going to go to war with the Saiyan clan. The average human level index in our universe has finally risen by 1 level. Do you want me to stop them? Shut up. You're so panicked over such a small matter. You've brought shame upon Supreme Kai. But that's bullshit. We Supreme Kai are in charge of creation. We can't interfere too much in the affairs of the mortal world. Let it develop naturally. Sometimes fighting is not the destruction of civilization, but the reproduction of civilization. Moreover, if the direction of civilization development is not right, the gods of destruction will also take action. When will it be your turn to take action? Ancestor, I understand. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 64 Rules of Space and Time. The northern Milky Way is undercurrent, on Earth at this moment. In Taiza's manor, a purple cat sat cross-legged on the lawn. A strong atmosphere of time permeates the air. With the purple cat as the center, the area within a radius of 10 meters is covered by a transparent cube space. From a distance, it looks like a house. There were two other people next to the transparent cube house. They were lying on beach chairs, taking a sip of drinks from time to time. I didn't expect that you have comprehended the rules of time and space. Whis said lightly. Louis disappeared for a month a year ago, and when he came back, he was filled with the scent of time and space. Louis entered the full power state of Super Saiyan, and his strength even broke through to the second level of the divine realm. This shocked Whis. How come Louis's strength increased so much in less than a month? The sudden surge in power is not the key point. The key point is when did Louis comprehend the rules of time and space? At that time, Whis was shocked for 2.5 days and really couldn't understand it. But thinking that Louis can also erase and ignore any damage. There seems to be no need to be shocked. It's like if you often see ghosts, and then one day you see one again, you won't be shocked at all. Louis's perversion has not happened overnight, and in the end Whis chose to face it all calmly. Haha, this time house I created is pretty good. Louis laughed. He came out after entering the spirit time house for more than a month. The first thing he did when he came back was to create a house similar to the spirit time house in the manor. It just so happened that Beerus came all the way to Earth from the gods of destruction world, so Louis let Beerus go in and try it out. Why did Beerus come all the way from the gods of destruction world? This brings us to what happened a year ago. Because of Quitella's death, Beerus danced a disgusting dance of joy for 3 days and 3 nights. Like having a snake-like mental disorder. Louis and Whis couldn't bear to watch it any longer, so they just left Beerus in the gods of destruction world and ignored him. After the two arrived on Earth, Beerus finally realized what was going on. He called Whis, but Whis ignored him. Beerus was so angry that he flew all the way from the gods of destruction world to Earth. 1 day outside is equivalent to half a year inside. It's really amazing. Looking at the transparent cube house, Whis nodded. You have understood the rules of time and space, and created this kind of time house. It seems that you have a good grasp of the rules of time and space. So how do I compare to Lord Supreme Kai of Time? Louis looked over. Whis was stunned. I didn't tell you about the Supreme Kai of Time, how did you know? After saying that, Whis shook his head. This kid seemed to know a lot of things. For example, he also knew that the old Supreme Kai was sealed in the Supreme Kai sword. Not surprising at all. I can only turn back time 2 minutes at most, but you can speed up time by half a year. Speeding up and going backwards are not the same thing. Speeding up time is more complicated than going backwards. Obviously, your control over time has surpassed mine, and your control over space is naturally better than mine as well. Whis said calmly, but the rules of time and space that you control now cannot be compared with the Supreme Kai of Time. There really is a Supreme Kai. Louis muttered to himself, and then said, then I. When Louis wanted to ask how far he was from the Supreme Kai of Time, a silver light suddenly flashed from the transparent cube house next to him. I saw the purple cat inside exuding a natural scent all over its body. The realm of freedom. Whis smiled. Lord Beerus has finally realized the state of freedom. A long time ago, Beerus touched the state of freedom, but he never made a breakthrough to this level. Unexpectedly, he finally entered the realm of freedom in the time house created by Louis this time. The 5th level of power of the god realm exploded in Beerus. The cube house suddenly shattered. Beerus' body was filled with a silver glow, and he looked exactly like Louis when he entered the state of freedom. Louis, come over here and give me a beating. I just asked Whis to leave you alone. Why are you so angry? Stop talking so much. Beerus simply disappeared on the spot. Lewis smiled, his whole body was covered with silver light, and he was ejected directly from the beach chair. The two men fought quickly in the sky, and silver light kept flashing, as if countless fireworks were blooming. Colorful and dazzling. A few seconds later. Skinny ribs, you hit me in the face, let me show you how I'm going to kill you. Little b*********************, d, why did you use the rules of time? Ah, don't take out your balls. After several hundred rounds, the two men descended from the sky, and Lewis's Gods of Destruction costume turned into strips of cloth, hanging on his body like a beggar. Compared with Lewis, Beerus looked even more miserable. Although he was not hurt, his clothes turned into strips of cloth. Especially the crotch area, there is a big hole. Ha ha ha. Seeing this, Whis held his stomach, tossed and turned on the beach chair, and couldn't stop laughing. What the hell are you laughing at? Put my clothes back in place. Beerus covered his crotch and cursed. Ha ha ha. Whis was still laughing, almost convulsing with laughter. Beerus's face grew darker. Let me do it. Lewis smiled, raised his hand, and condensed a time rule. With a wave of his hand, his and Beerus' clothes instantly returned to their original state. Lewis, this is the reversal of time for a single object. You kid. Beerus swallowed. In the fight just now, both of them entered a state of ease at the same time. There is no doubt that Lewis is no match for him. After all, if Lewis doesn't transform into a Super Saiyan, he won't be able to match him in terms of strength or speed. But later on, whenever Lewis was hit, he would directly use the rules of time to reverse time. Lewis saw through all his attacks. Lewis truly achieved foresight. This put him in a passive position. Lord Beerus, how does it feel to be in the state of freedom? Lewis asked with a smile. This realm, I can only say, is unfathomable. It is hard to imagine the ultimate realm after freedom. Beerus shook his head, his tone full of admiration, as expected of an angel level. Beerus clenched his fists again and grinned. Now if I were to face those 11, those 10 guys again, I would definitely have the confidence to defeat them all at once. Ha ha ha, indeed, this realm is really too strong. It's a pity that my normal strength is still too weak, and it's difficult for me to exert the power of the free state. Lewis sighed. If he can enter the state of freedom while in the Super Saiyan state, he will be rich. Whis on the side said, Lewis, I told you a long time ago that your transformation was a mistake. Don't transform again in the future. Only when you are strong yourself can you be truly strong. Beerus looked at Lewis. You probably can't use the Freedom Realm in Super Saiyan state. Master Beerus finally found out. Lewis smiled helplessly. The prerequisite for entering a state of freedom is to have a calm mind and not be swayed by strange emotions. Lewis transforms into a Super Saiyan, and although he is nourished by the power of the gods, his body does not feel any burden. But Super Saiyan is in a berserk state. There is a saying that goes, the angrier you are, the stronger your Super Saiyan power will be. Lewis would no longer be able to enter the state of freedom in the Super Saiyan state. Unless, it's Super Saiyan 4. Chapter 65, Advantages of Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 is the ultimate sublimation of Saiyan bloodline. It is different from Super Saiyan 1, 2 and 3. The first 3 states will maintain Saiyan's unique violent factor. This is why the angrier you are, the stronger the power of the Super Saiyan state becomes. But when it comes to Super 4, the Super 4 state can perfectly solve this problem. Super Saiyan 4 is the ultimate sublimation of bloodline, or in other words, Super Saiyan 4 is another, normal state, of Saiyan, reaching the point of returning to nature, and no longer affected by violent emotions. The shortcomings that burden your body will completely disappear. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Even if we tell you, you won't listen. Beerus knew Lewis's character and he would never turn back unless he hit a wall. But, with the power in Lewis, it seems that there is no problem even if he is obsessed with transformation. After all, Quitella died at his hands. If he continues to practice, who will be his opponent? I walked to the beach chair and lay down. Beerus took a sip of his drink and said, now tell me about your rules of space and time. Whis looked over. Why are you looking at me like that? I can even erase things, so isn't it normal for me to know the rules of time and space? Lewis came to the beach chair next to Beerus and lay down. The 3 old men were all lying on the beach chairs, drinking drinks, and having a very comfortable life. Quote. This reason is so strong that it seems impossible to refute it. Especially Whis, he knows what erasure means. Erasure is a collection of various rules. Only by understanding the various rules can one be qualified to understand erasure. Time and space are also two of the rules that erase. So it seems that there is nothing wrong with Lewis being able to comprehend the rules of time and space. Lord Beerus, you still have to thank me. If I hadn't created this time house, you wouldn't be able to break through to the state of freedom. Lewis said again. How can this be attributed to you? Even without your time room, I would have been able to make a breakthrough in the recent period of time. Beerus curled his lips. He had never seen such a shameless person. As shameless as that fat cat in the 6th universe. You're destroying the bridge after crossing it. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a purple cat. Lewis said lightly. Whis, who was drinking a drink nearby, spat out the drink in his mouth with a puff. It didn't mention Beerus, but isn't the purple cat Beerus? You. Beerus was both angry and amused when he heard this. Lewis was so cute when he was a child, why has he become so annoying now? Lord Beerus, I have understood the rules of time. Even if I don't need to erase it, you will not be my opponent in the future. Lewis hit another critical hit. Boom. I'm so angry. Beerus stood up from the beach chair and yelled, you little b*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Whis looked over and laughed. Lord Beerus, don't fight alone. After all, Quitella died at the hands of Lewis. It's normal that you can't beat Lewis. Quote. Beerus' mouth twitched slightly. What Whis said seems to make sense, but why does it sound so helpless? Lewis was very happy to make Beerus jump up and down in anger. The three of them chatted a lot more. Speaking of the average level of human beings in the 7th universe. As Saiyan became more powerful, the 7th universe first rose from the 2nd to last to the 3rd to last. Up to now, the 7th universe has even risen to the 4th from the bottom. This made Beerus very happy. Well, Master Beerus, it's time for us to go play in other universes. Lewis still remembers the previous sparring. It was the first time he was beaten up by a group of people. After that, he was beaten up by the Dark Demon Realm for the 2nd time. It makes me angry just thinking about it. Now that his power has skyrocketed, I have to bully him back no matter what. Okay, the average level of humanity in the 7th universe has skyrocketed, and I've realized the realm of freedom. I have to show it off. Beerus' eyes lit up and he licked his lips, especially going to the 6th universe. Thinking of the fat pig's surprised expression, he couldn't help but get excited. Beerus' face was flushed with excitement, which made Whis and the others laugh. Beerus brothers are so weird. When the three were ready to set off. Lewis, Vegeta and I have learned instant transmission. Suddenly a voice was heard. I saw 5 people walking outside the yard. Bulma, Taizi, Vegeta, Son Goku, and Chi-Chi. Son Goku hurried in front of Lewis, followed by a beautiful woman in cheongsam. Goku, don't run so fast. Chi-Chi walked up and hugged Son Goku's arm tightly. Lewis was stunned. Kakarot, when did you come back? Just got back. Son Goku rubbed his head and said, Vegeta and I have been studying for a year and finally learned instant transmission, but we can't sense your aura, so we found our way back to Earth and came here. Lewis nodded. A year ago, he brought Son Goku and his partner to Yadrat. A year had passed, and Son Goku should have learned instant transmission. This is about the same amount of time as in the anime. Also, it's normal for Son Goku to say that he couldn't sense his aura. Mortals cannot sense the aura of gods, unless Son Goku breaks through to Super Saiyan God. Vegeta learned it too. Lewis looked at Vegeta, and his eyes annoyed Vegeta. Vegeta yelled, what's that look? Can't I learn it? It shouldn't be like that. Lewis frowned. With your talent, you shouldn't be able to learn it. Vegeta in the anime did not learn this move. Boom. Vegeta is furious. Isn't Lewis saying that he is less talented than Son Goku? Shame, utter shame. Lewis, I want to challenge you one-on-one. As soon as these words came out, the corners of Whis and Beerus' mouths twitched slightly. Another person whose defense was broken by Lewis. Vegeta, shut up. How dare you talk to your brother-in-law like that? Bulma came over and pulled Vegeta's ear and shouted. Vegeta immediately wilted. Ha ha ha. Seeing this, everyone laughed. The arrogant King Vegeta was actually so afraid of Bulma. Lewis saw Son Goku laughing loudly and glanced at the Chi-Chi next to him. I muttered to myself, Kakarot, don't be impatient, you will soon be afraid of Chi-Chi too. He glanced at Taizi next to Bulma again. Haha, Luckily his sister Tazy wasn't that fierce. Now that you're back, you should go to the Galactic Patrol headquarters to teach Bardock and the others how to transform. Lewis said. Okay, I will go back with Kakarot in 2 days. Vegeta nodded, and as soon as he finished speaking, a familiar voice came from above. Goku, Vegeta, something big has happened. Chapter 66 Cooler Attack. Beerus next to him frowned. Why did the voice sound so familiar? Master King Kai, is something wrong? Son Goku looked up. Vegeta suddenly had a bad feeling. The others looked up. When Beerus heard this, he suddenly realized whose voice it was. It turned out to be that short King Kai. Quote. There was no sound coming from above. Sudden gurgle. It was the sound of King Kai swallowing his saliva, and then, greetings. Greetings to Master Beerus. King Kai's voice was stuttering and he sounded very nervous. Lewis's mouth curled up slightly. How could he not be nervous? After all, Beerus was the one who blew up his King Kai with one punch. Beerus said coldly, King Kai, what did you say? I originally wanted to go to other universes, but was disturbed by the shorty. I was very angry. That. Explain. Yes. Cooler from the East Galaxy is calling the North Galaxy. Who is Cooler? Except for Lewis, everyone else present was slightly stunned. Even Beerus was stunned. Soon, Beerus reacted. Isn't Cooler Frieza's older brother? Frieza and the entire Frozen clan are serving him. Come on. As long as the Earth isn't destroyed, I don't give a shit about anything else. Beerus ignored King Kai's words and looked at Whis and Lewis. Let's go, we're going to the 6th universe now. Etc. Lewis stopped Beerus and said with a smile, Master Beerus, do you want to see the average human level index of the 7th universe soar again? Beerus' eyes lit up. What do you mean? No one else could understand the conversation between the two. Son Goku only knew that something really big seemed to have happened. Especially Vegeta, he knows exactly what Cooler means. If Frieza is the emperor of the universe, then Cooler is the emperor's brother. Listening to your words is like being purified by Zhuangzi. Lewis naturally had no idea what Vegeta was thinking. He looked at Beerus and smiled. Master Beerus, if all of us Saiyans transform into Super Saiyans, how high do you think the average level of human beings in our 7th universe will skyrocket? Hiss. Beerus gasped. He knew that a Super Saiyan could increase his strength 50 times his normal strength. If every Saiyan could transform. Boom. Thinking of this, Beerus was so excited that he trembled all over and held Lewis's arm tightly. Louise, can you really do it? No wonder Beerus was so excited. The average human level index is related to the ranking of the universe. If what Lewis said is true, the ranking of the 7th universe will definitely be improved again. Maybe even rise to the middle of the rankings. It is hard to believe that such a feat could be achieved in just over a decade. Also, isn't this a plan to go to other universes and show off? This kind of feat will come in handy. Last time, Kakarot was able to successfully transform into a Super Saiyan because of Frieza, and then Vegeta also succeeded in breaking through under my stimulation. Lewis pointed at Son Goku and Vegeta, then said, as for making the entire Saiyan clan transform into Super Saiyan, it's definitely not possible now, but it should be no problem in a dozen years. Many things happen step by step. This time Cooler has set his sights on the Northern Galaxy. Maybe someone from our Saiyan clan has transformed again. Yes, there's no need to rush to other universes. If there's one more person in your Saiyan world who can transform, then our 7th universe will be prosperous. Beerus's breathing was rapid. Fine. Fortunately, out of Lewis's consideration, the Saiyan clan was not destroyed. It turns out that the Saiyan race is so talented. Then let's go see what Cooler wants to do. Lewis looked at Son Goku and Vegeta again. You two should go together. Without you, Bardock and the others might die. Die without a complete body. Son Goku shuddered and asked hurriedly, is Cooler strong? Bulma and the others looked closely at Lewis, all shocked by what he said. Lewis waved his hand. You will know when you fight him. You have learned instant transmission. Go quickly. If you are late, Bardock and the others may really be in trouble. Good. Son Goku was anxious. He looked at Chi-Chi beside him and said, Chi-Chi, I will come back and marry you. Vegeta also looked at Bulma. Bulma, wait for me at home. I will definitely come back safely. Chi-Chi and Bulma nodded vigorously. Finally, Son Goku and the other man disappeared in an instant. When Lewis was about to leave, Bulma hurriedly said, brother-in-law, can you protect Vegeta when he is in danger? Don't worry. Lewis waved his hand. In fact, even if Vegeta and Son Goku were in danger, Lewis had no intention of taking action. Because Son Goku and Vegeta have learned instant transmission, unless Son Goku and Vegeta want to die. Or meet a super strong person. Otherwise no one can kill them. Lewis also left with Beerus and Whis. Tazy and the other 3 women were the only ones left. Tazy comforted them, Chi-Chi, Bulma, don't worry. Lewis is here. The 2 of them already knew Lewis's identity, so they were not worried. At this time, by the way, Chi-Chi, how did you get Goku to agree to marry you? Bulma looked at Chi-Chi, who was wearing a cheongsam, and smiled. Taiz was also very curious. Chi-Chi covered her face and said shyly, I just said there would be a big dinner at the wedding, and then he agreed. Bulma. Taiz. ... Supreme Kai World. Shin squatted on the lawn, looking at the crystal ball that the old Supreme Kai placed on the ground. Grandfather, that's great. Lewis and Lord Beerus are heading to the northern edge of the Milky Way. With them around, we can definitely stop this battle. Sudden. Hey, what are you doing, ancestor? Asin covered his head, squatted on the ground, and screamed in pain. You know shit. The old Supreme Kai said angrily, do you think Skinny Ribs and Lewis will stop this war if they go over there? Skinny Ribs. Fortunately Beerus wasn't here, otherwise the old Supreme Kai would have to get beaten again. Isn't it? Ashin said weakly, shrinking his neck. Seeing Shin's expression, the old Supreme Kai said angrily, didn't I tell you before that war is sometimes not the extinction of civilization but the reproduction of civilization. Only the strong can win. This is the survival of the fittest. The old Supreme Kai said calmly, just watch. Although the Saiyans are a very talented race, if they can't beat the Frozens, Skinny Ribs and Lewis won't do anything. This is gods of destruction. Lewis said, Old Supreme Kai, don't take me with you if you keep bragging. It would have been fine if the Saiyan clan had been exterminated before. Now our clan is really being exterminated. Just wait and see if I can do anything, it will all be over. Youngster, you still have a lot to learn. The old Supreme Kai turned his back to Axon and finally said with a smile, maybe after this battle, our 7th universe will completely take off. Chapter 67 Prelude to the War. Located at the junction of the northern Milky Way and the eastern Milky Way, a huge battleship was flying in the front, followed by countless spaceships. Like a swarm of locusts passing through. In the dark starry sky of the universe, it seems particularly depressing. Inside that huge battleship, a universe person sitting in a baby carriage, with a round head, blood-red eyes, and black lips. With him as the center, a strong sense of oppression permeates the surroundings. This person is none other than Frieza's elder brother Cooler. Cooler tapped his fingers on the baby stroller again and again, making a harsh sound. The sound echoed throughout the ship's hull. At this time, King Cooler, we have entered the northern galaxy. Cooler Mecha Unit Captain Xiaobai said respectfully. Xiaobai, do you think Super Saiyan is really strong? Cooler turned his head and looked at the yellow-haired Xiaobai. He who can kill King Frieza must be quite powerful. But no matter how powerful he is definitely not stronger than King Cooler. Xiaobai flattered him. Yes, King Cooler is invincible. The other 2 Cooler Mecha Unit members echoed loudly. Just a little bit of strength. Cooler looked out of the transparent glass and muttered to himself. He shook his head and said in a cold voice, speed up and attack. I want to see how strong those Saiyan monkeys are. As soon as the words fell, 10 small spaceships appeared 1 kilometer in front of the huge battleship. The mighty Cooler Universe Army suddenly stopped flying, and a voice came from the battleship control room. Report to King Cooler, an unidentified spacecraft has been detected ahead. Oh, who is so bold as to stop me, Cooler? Inside the ship's hull, Cooler showed a strange smile, blast them to pieces. Yes, the control room received Cooler's order and issued an attack instruction. In the starry sky of the universe, the vast army of universe spaceships are all concentrating on energy cannons. Emission. Thousands of universe spaceships launched energy cannon attacks. Boom, boom. All of a sudden, thousands of energy bombs hit the dozen or so small spaceships in front, and the blooming light made the dark universe starry sky as bright as day. Keep moving forward. Cooler gave the order in the ship's hull. The entire Cooler Universe Army is ready to fly forward. Sudden. When the smoke from the bombed area cleared, more than a dozen figures appeared. They have tails hanging around their waists and just hover in the starry sky of the universe. Report to King Cooler, it's Saiyan. A voice came from the control room. What? Cooler's eyes widened. He controlled the baby stroller to the transparent window and stared at the dozen figures a kilometer away. Saiyan, King Cooler, when will Saiyan be able to survive in the universe? Zaviza asked in shock. The other two mecha troop members, Nezzy and Dre, also widened their eyes. Didn't they say that Saiyan can't survive in the universe? Stop talking nonsense, take the oxygen devices and kill them. Cooler frowned. In fact, he was also confused in his heart. But he hadn't gone to find Saiyan yet, but Saiyan came to die on his own, so he decided to help them. So, Xiaobai and the other two put on oxygen devices, flew out of the battleship, and rushed towards the dozen or so figures. 1 kilometer away, there are 15 figures hovering here. Burdock, Raditz, Nappa, Bibert and Theodore, and 10 more Saiyans. The Saiyan clan's high-end combat power is basically gathered here. In the words of King Vegeta, if Burdock and his dozen men cannot defeat Cooler, then no matter how many Saiyans go over, they will just die. That's why there are only 15 Saiyans here. Additionally, King Vegeta is also working hard to contact Son Goku on Earth at the Galactic Patrol headquarters. If the Super Saiyan of the Saiyan clan doesn't come, Burdock and his men will be dead. But even so, Burdock and his team did not back down. I never thought that our Saiyan clan could survive in the universe. Raditz transmitted his voice through his breath. It was Lewis who made the wish to Shenron. A year ago, Burdock was brought back to the galactic headquarters by Lewis and told about this. At first he thought Lewis was joking, but after trying it once, he found that Saiyan could really survive in the universe. At this time, they're coming, Nappa said. I saw Xiaobai and his two companions coming towards us with oxygen equipment. Seeing this, Burdock sneered, these three were too weak. He has been on Earth for 2 years and has learned to sense the Earth's chi. In his perception, the strongest one was the green-skinned guy, whose strength was less than 1/10 of his. Raditz, go kill them. Yes. Raditz nodded, and instantly burst out with white flames, helping Xiaobai and the other two fly away. At this time, a group of people suddenly appeared in the distance. Lewis, Beerus, Whis, Son Goku and Vegeta. See the scene where Raditz and Xiaobai are entangled with each other. Call. Son Goku breathed a sigh of relief, luckily the real battle hasn't started yet. Vegeta nodded, he looked around and saw that his father was not here. Little did they know that King Vegeta was sending them messages at the galactic headquarters. Lewis watched the battle between Raditz, Xiaobai and the other two and asked, Lord Beerus, what do you think of our Saiyan clan? Your talent is naturally self-evident, but forget about the talents of others. Beerus folded his arms and glanced at Son Goku and Vegeta beside him. Of course, these two are also very good. P.S. 3 chapters have been updated, please give me good reviews. Hee. Chapter 68 The Talents of the Saiyan Clan. During Beerus' time on Earth, he got to know all of Earth's Z warriors. Son Goku was able to defeat Frieza, he does have pretty good talent. As for Vegeta, his power is weaker than Son Goku, but his desire to fight is very strong. Only, he could see that Vegeta's martial arts foundation was not as good as Son Goku's, and his state of mind was not as good as Son Goku's. Just good. Lewis laughed. In the world of Dragon Ball, the talents of these two protagonists are merely decent, and there are no very talented people in this world. Isn't it? Beerus took another serious look at Son Goku and Vegeta next to him. Whis also observed the two of them and soon fell into deep thought. Two sharp eyes fell on the two of them, and Son Goku and Vegeta trembled all over. What's wrong? I didn't provoke them. I hope it won't be destroyed. Lewis shook his head and smiled. Lord Beerus, sometimes you can't just look at the surface of things. Oh. Beerus frowned. Lewis said calmly, isn't there a Jiren in the 11th universe? In my opinion, Jiren is not as good as these two. The sound was faint, but it startled both Beerus and Whis. Are you sure you're not kidding? Beerus had heard of Jiren's name a long time ago, and heard that Jiren was a powerful mortal who could be compared with the gods of destruction. This time when I went to other universes with Lewis, I planned to go to the 11th universe to meet Jiren. You'll know later whether I'm joking or not. Also, you may think that the Saiyans have poor talents, but in fact, the Saiyan's talents are among the best in the Xeno universe. Lewis initially thought that the Saiyans were an inherently evil race. If this were the case, the S cells in Saiyan's body would be suppressed by the violent factors in his body and would never be able to awaken. This is also the reason why Lewis didn't care about Saiyan before. Because a Saiyan with such trashy powers and a violent personality is not worth protecting at all. Later, Lewis discovered that he was wrong. It turns out that Saiyan is not an inherently evil race, but the environment has influenced Saiyan. Once all the S factors in the Saiyans are awakened, all Saiyans have the potential to become Super Saiyans. Imagine the following scenes. Every 6 Saiyans can be combined into a Super Saiyan God. There is also the fusion technique, where every 2 Saiyans combine to form a fusion warrior. What is the concept? Just thinking about it makes my scalp tingle. At this time, Beerus adult, Whis retracted his gaze from Son Goku and Vegeta. His voice was serious. Lewis is right, we may have underestimated Saiyan. Beerus' pupils shrank sharply. He turned his head and stared at Whis. He glanced at Son Goku and Vegeta next to him. Nearby, Son Goku and Vegeta were a little confused as they listened to the 3 people's speech. Especially Vegeta. He thinks that the Saiyan clan is very talented, but is it really as terrible as Lewis said? Sudden, boom boom boom. There was a sound of violent collision in the distance. A Saiyan with waist-length hair is fighting 3 universe people. Countless waves of light shone in all directions, illuminating the dark starry sky, as if dawn was approaching. Soon, 3 members of the Cooler Mecha unit were blown up by Raditz. When did my brother become so strong? Son Goku swallowed. Not bad. Vegeta could sense that the 3 of Zaviza were very powerful. If it was the Raditz from before, he would definitely not be able to defeat these 3 people. It seems that this kid hasn't been lazy this year. As soon as Vegeta finished speaking, a figure flew out from the huge battleship in the starry sky of the universe. The figure was sitting in a baby carriage. I told Frieza to kill your Saiyan clan, but he just wouldn't listen. Originally, sound cannot be transmitted in a vacuum, but the moment Cooler came out, his cold voice echoed in the dark starry sky. Oh no, he's so strong. Son Goku hurriedly shouted, Vegeta, let's go over there quickly. Goku and Vegeta turned into 2 rays of light and flew off into the distance. Only Lewis, Whis and Beerus were left at the original position. Looking at the backs of Son Goku and Vegeta, Beerus said, Whis, what did you mean by that just now? If I'm not mistaken, the violent aura in Saiyan's body is slowly disappearing. Maybe this is why they are getting stronger. And I also discovered that the less violent energy they have in their bodies, the stronger they become. Of course, the violent aura in their bodies does not really disappear, but when they become Super Saiyan, the disappeared violent aura will burst out and turn into powerful strength. Lord Beerus, Saiyan's talent may be even higher than that of the Frozen clan. Whis turned his head, looked at Lewis meaningfully, and asked, am I right? Over the years, he had been following Beerus and Lewis and had not really observed the Saiyan people. It was not until this moment, when he saw Burdok's dozen Saiyans in the distance, that he realized this. Ha ha. Lewis smiled and didn't explain further. Saiyan's talent is stronger than that of the Ice Clan. It depends on which Saiyan or which Ice Clan. If you compare Son Goku's talent with that of the Ice Clan, Son Goku's talent is naturally higher. But if you compare them with the little Karamis of Raditz and the Ice Clan, they are naturally not as good. Lewis. Beerus looked at Lewis, breathing rapidly. He let the Ice Clan serve as his agents, which naturally meant that he recognized the Ice Clan's talents. Now Whis said that the talent of the Side people is higher than that of the Frozen clan. Is this true? If this is true, Beerus then thought about the Saiyan clan, which has more than 2,000 people, and every Saiyan who transforms into a Super Saiyan is stronger than Frieza, Cooler, and King Cold. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. Lord Beerus, you will know all this later. Now just watch the show. Lewis ended the topic and looked away. Beerus nodded, he knew Lewis was special. Lewis actually said this, plus Whis' explanation. Saiyan's talent is definitely stronger than that of the Ice Clan. It's developed. The 3 looked into the distance. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 69, Fighting with Cooler. In the dark universe starry sky, a universe person sitting in a baby carriage was hovering in front of a huge universe battleship. Cooler flashed a cold gaze and glanced at the minced meat pieces floating in the universe. These are all the fragments of Xiaobai and the others. Then he looked at the dozen Saiyans in front of him. I didn't expect that all my mecha troop members would die at the hands of a Saiyan. No wonder you were able to kill Frieza, it seems you have some real strength. Cooler laughed while sitting in the baby bicycle, and did not feel sad at all for the death of the 3 people including Xiaobai. The Ice Clan is the spokesperson for words like coldness and ruthlessness. Humph, I told Frieza to wipe out your Saiyan clan a long time ago, but he turned a deaf ear to my words. But, no matter what, Frieza is also a member of the Frozen clan. Since you killed him, you should die too. I can take over his territory. Cooler didn't plan to let his men take action again. After all, the 3 of Xiaobai were dead, and the others would just die if they went up. In the starry sky, Cooler's aura became more and more terrifying. Under normal circumstances, his combat power is 60 million combat power. Bang! With a full force burst, the baby car that Cooler was sitting in suddenly exploded. A terrifying aura spread throughout the entire starry sky, the magnetic field became chaotic, and countless ions gathered together to form silver dragons. Affected by this force, the universe spaceship army behind Cooler swayed from side to side, and Cooler's subordinates quickly retreated. Be careful. Up ahead, Bardock looked at Cooler with a serious expression. Cooler's aura was extremely terrifying, like that of a prehistoric beast. Endless pressure is coming this way. I didn't expect Cooler to be so powerful. According to Bardock, Cooler's power in this state is almost as strong as Frieza's ultimate state. Let's prepare to condense the artificial moon. King Vegeta is already contacting Kakarot. Let's see if Kakarot can make it in time. Cooler's aura is very terrifying. Bardock's current strength is only 4 million combat power. If he fights Cooler in normal state, he will surely be killed. Although the lower-level warriors would lose their minds after transforming into giant apes, Bardock could no longer care about that at the moment. Yes. Feeling the power bursting out from Cooler, Bibert and the other Saiyan had a flash of fear in their eyes, but they quickly suppressed the fear. Sudden. Father, I'm coming. A voice was heard, and then 2 rays of light flew towards this side. It's Kakarot, Kakarot is here. And Vegeta is here too. The Saiyans were ecstatic. If these 2 hadn't arrived, they would have been dead. From a distance, Cooler was stunned when he saw the 2 men. Since there are still people who want to die, then I will grant your wish. Cooler turned into a purple light and attacked Bardock. The void vibrates. You retreat. On Son Goku's side, he saw Cooler coming and quickly asked everyone to retreat. Vegeta, transform into a Super Saiyan. Good. As soon as the words fell, brilliant golden light bloomed from Son and Goku's bodies, like 2 newborn suns, extremely dazzling. The overwhelming momentum spread in all directions, causing the vacuum of the starry sky to emit a loud rumbling sound. The transformation was complete and the 2 instantly flew towards Cooler. No way. Blonde state. King Vegeta Co. Bay. When will King Vegeta be able to transform into a Super Saiyan? Wouldn't it be better if I could transform? Ha ha ha, Cooler is dead now. When Saiyan, who was retreating, saw this, he was immediately overjoyed. Cooler, who was attacking this side, couldn't help but tremble in his heart when he saw this scene. Blonde. It's exactly the same as the legend passed down by the Frozen clan. Super Saiyan. Is this the Super Saiyan who killed Frieza? HMPH, I want to see if Super Saiyan is really that strong. Cooler was speeding up, and the next second he and Son Goku were fighting each other. You guys retreat, I'm going to go up and help them too. Bardock, retreating, suddenly stopped. He learned how to sense Kai on Earth, and can clearly sense that Cooler in this state has no less Kai than Frieza in his ultimate state. But don't forget that Frieza can transform, so naturally Cooler should be able to transform too. If Cooler transforms again, his power. Bardock's heart trembled. Even Super Saiyan couldn't compare to Cooler. Bardock flew forward violently. Father. Raditz yelled. Raditz, we can't help you. Let's go. Bardock will be fine. Nappa pulled Raditz back. The Saiyans were retreating, and Son Goku and Vegeta were already fighting with Cooler. Boom. Boom. The power of the collision caused a storm in the starry sky. The stars are shaking. Bang. Cooler was hit by a punch from Son Goku and thrown straight into the universe's starry sky. Sudden. A golden light chased forward, and Vegeta caught up with Cooler in an instant. Vegeta brings his hands together to form a sledgehammer. Infused with the power of thunder. A fierce hammer blow. Cooler's head sank several centimeters, he let out a heart-wrenching cry of pain, and flew towards Son Goku again. Burdock also joined the battle, and the battle immediately became fierce. For a moment, the entire starry sky was boiling. Far away. 2 Super Saiyans. Beerus saw this and laughed. The more Super Saiyan there are, the higher the ranking of his universe. Lewis looked over and said, Lord Beerus, how strong is Cooler's true power? You'll have to ask Whis about that. If measured by the combat power of the 7th universe, Cooler's ultimate state has a combat power of 470 million. Whis said lightly. 470 million. Lewis shook his head. He could clearly sense that Son Goku and Vegeta's power was not very strong, probably not exceeding 400 million. In that case, Son and Goku can't beat Cooler. What is the current combat power of the two of Whis? Son Goku's power is 300 million combat power, and Vegeta's power is 250 million combat power. Whis said. That is to say, Son Goku's normal combat power is 6 million, and Vegeta's normal combat power is 5 million. Compared with before, the improvement of the two is actually not that big, and their combat power has only increased by about 1 million. This is why the two of them studied instant transmission. Lewis naturally knew this, and he didn't think there was anything wrong with wasting a year studying instant transmission. After all, instant transmission is a life-saving skill. Even if it takes 10 years, it will be worth it. According to what was said, Son Goku and the others can't beat Cooler. Beerus looked at the battle ahead. Chapter 70. Lewis is so mean. There are many factors that affect the outcome of a battle. It doesn't mean that the higher the combat effectiveness, the more likely you will win in the end. Beerus, as the gods of destruction, has fought countless battles in his life, so he naturally knows this. But, judging from the current situation, with the power revealed by Son Goku and Vegeta, it is still a bit difficult for the two of them to defeat Cooler. After all, the entire Frozen clan is at his service, and Beerus knows the power of Cooler's ultimate state. Lewis smiled and said, it might be difficult for 2 Super Saiyans to defeat Cooler, but what if there's one more Super Saiyan? One more Super Saiyan? Beerus and Whis were stunned. Didn't Batak go up and get beaten? In his current condition, as long as he's angry enough, it will be enough to turn him into a Super Saiyan. Lewis had been watching the battle ahead and said calmly, Whis, control Kakarot and Vegeta later and let them be severely injured by Cooler. Burdock will definitely be furious when his son is injured. In this case, he will definitely be able to transform into a Super Saiyan. Lewis gave a nasty smile. Beerus' body shuddered when he heard this. What a sinister B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* nothing. Others were so miserable even though they didn't offend him. What if they offended him? Well, the last person who offended him has been wiped out. In front of the starry sky. Boom. All kinds of energy bombs filled with endless power roared wildly, streaking across the starry sky of the universe and hitting planets one after another. There was a series of explosions. The power generated by the explosion swept across the entire star field, and the universe was filled with all kinds of violent energies. The magnetic field of the starry sky is extremely chaotic. Crash. Two golden rays of light were like golden dragons, weaving through the starry sky, and at the center of their intersection there was a universe man with a bruised face and a swollen nose. Under normal circumstances, Cooler only has a combat power of 60 million. He is no match for Son Goku, who has transformed into a Super Saiyan and has a combat power of 300 million, and Vegeta, who has a combat power of 250 million. Cooler was hit repeatedly and let out heart-wrenching screams of pain. On the other side, Bardock was looking for opportunities to hit Cooler from time to time. Damn Saiyan monkey. Cooler was hit by a punch and flew into the sky above the stars due to the rebound force. This scene was seen by Lewis from a distance, and he couldn't help but sigh that the Frozen clan was really tough. Cooler, who only has a combat power of 60 million, has been screwed for so long but is still full of energy. Above the starry sky, Cooler steadied himself, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said coldly, "This is the power of you Super Saiyans. I have to say it is really strong, no wonder you can kill Frieza. However, if this is all the power you have, then this day next year will be the anniversary of your death." Cooler laughs wildly. A terrifying aura suddenly burst out from him, and the entire star field was shrouded in a cold murderous aura, as if it were an ice cave in the underworld, icy and bone-chilling. Oh no, Cooler is about to transform, stop him now. Bardock, who had just run away after a sneak attack, couldn't help but tremble in his heart when he saw this. Son Goku and Vegeta above the starry sky also remembered the scene with Namek. No, Cooler can't transform successfully. The three of them moved quickly. Son Goku flew to the side, put his hands together at his waist, and a blue rice grain suddenly appeared in his palm. Vegeta stood still in the middle, put his hands together and pressed them against his chest, and a golden shock wave appeared in his palms. Bardock flew to the other side and did the same pose as Son Goku, gathering Ki Blast in his palms. The three of them formed a triangle. Wonderful waves. Ultimate Flash Cannon. Shining Shockwave. Boom. Three attacks simultaneously shot towards Cooler above the starry sky. The overwhelming momentum swept across the entire starry sky. This moment, it's like the creation of the world. Boom. All three attacks hit Cooler steadily. For a moment, the air was filled with smoke, and Cooler's vision was completely blurred. Lewis and the other two saw Cooler being hit. Lewis, you Saiyans are giving me more and more surprises. Beerus folded his arms and said in a concentrated tone, besides Son Goku and Vegeta, that Saiyan named Bardock is also very talented. Whis nodded and said, it's really good, no wonder Lewis said he can become a Super Saiyan too. Lewis smiled but said nothing. As the father of the protagonist of Dragon Ball, Bardock is naturally very talented. Cooler is about to enter his ultimate state. Whis, be careful. Lewis showed his sly smile again. When necessary, you have to control Kakarot and Vegeta. Don't let them escape using instant transmission. Bulma asked her brother-in-law to protect Vegeta, but Lewis asked Whis to play dirty tricks. Fortunately, Bulma is not here, otherwise she would definitely cause trouble for Lewis. You'll stop at nothing to turn Bardock into a Super Saiyan. Whis rolled his eyes, then said, don't worry, I will control them. In front of the starry sky. Boom. Purple light shot up into the sky. The mighty momentum dispersed the smoke. Just see. A dwarf who looks very similar to Frieza's ultimate form is stepping on the void. Unlocked transformation 4 times, 5th form. Combat power 470 million. It is your honor to die in my ultimate state. Cooler stepped on the void, looking at Son Goku and the other two with cold eyes. At this moment, Cooler was like the devil from the underworld. His powerful aura even caused the space to distort. Cooler's unparalleled power made Son Goku and the other two tremble slightly. Bardock was shocked. Vegeta is fear. Son Goku is excited. The three people reacted differently. Careful. While the three were stunned, Son Goku noticed that Cooler had disappeared and shouted. Crash. A purple light danced in the starry sky. Son Goku and Vegeta responded and quickly wrestled with Cooler. After fighting for hundreds of rounds. Soon, Son Goku and the other two found that they couldn't stop Cooler. His physical strength was declining rapidly and the injuries on his body were increasing. On the other hand, Cooler is becoming more and more powerful. There is a difference of 170 million combat power between the strongest Son Goku and Cooler in his ultimate state. After all, the difference in power is too great. How could this happen? Looking at Cooler in the sky, Vegeta spat out a mouthful of blood and gritted his teeth. We Saiyan are no match for the Ice Clan. Up in the air, Cooler glanced at Vegeta, then at Bardock on the other side. There is still one fish that slipped through the net. Cooler laughed loudly, he turned into lightning and attacked Bardock. The speed was so fast that Bardock couldn't react at all. In an instant, puff, Bardock suddenly vomited blood, and the blood sprayed in the starry sky. Without the influence of gravity, the blood contracted and formed blood beads. Puff, Bardock spat out another mouthful of blood. He was seriously injured and could no longer speak. Bardock only had 4 million combat power. He was hit by Cooler with 470 million combat power. He didn't turn into minced meat on the spot. This was already his limit. Father! Son Goku shouted hurriedly. He instant transmission appeared next to Bardock, took out a senzu bean, and stuffed it into Bardock's mouth. At the same time, he and Vegeta also took one. The three of them were resurrected with full health. P.S. Please give me a good review. Thank you all for the small gifts. Special thanks to Passing by Card Face Come Play for the character summons and inspiration capsules. Special thanks to World Seconds to Understand for the inspiration capsules. Special thanks to Mangwu Buji for sending the reminder for update. Chapter 71 Bardock Transformation. Far away. Beerus was stunned for a moment. Hey, what kind of bean is this? It can actually restore a person's health to full from a serious injury. He kept frowning. This is Senzu bean. I remember it was extinct. Hearing this, Lewis was stunned. Whis, do you know these beans? This is the former Grand Priest. Before he could finish his words, Whis' body suddenly trembled. I remembered something. When he was on Earth, he felt that the style of the tall tower in the north of the Earth was very familiar. It turned out that. Lewis raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that Bobo's background was actually the former Grand Priest. He is really an angel. Whis, here we come, control Kakarot and Vegeta. Lewis didn't ask about the Senzu beans. He just watched the battle in front of him and shouted quickly. Up ahead, Son Goku and the other two seemed to see that the situation was not right and prepared to use instant transmission to escape. Whis came back to his senses, put the matter of the Senzu beans aside, and quickly waved his staff. A silver light enveloped both Son Goku and Vegeta. Ahead. Cooler's momentum in the sky is becoming more and more terrifying. We can't win, let's retreat first. Son Goku said. If he were the only one here, he would never back down so easily. But his father is here, there is nothing he can do. So helpless. Good. Vegeta gritted his teeth and nodded vigorously. Even though they became Super Saiyan, they were still no match for Cooler. It's so frustrating. Son Goku is about to use instant transmission to take Bardock away from the other side. Suddenly, he and Vegeta froze in place, as if time had stopped. What's wrong with you? On the other side, Bardock saw Son Goku and the other man's strange behavior and shouted hurriedly. Want to escape? When Son Goku just used instant transmission to save Bardock, Cooler had already noticed Son Goku's amazing move. In this battle, he witnessed Saiyan's terror, and there was no way he could let Saiyan go. While Son Goku and Vegeta are dazed. In the air, Cooler raised his hands high, and an energy bullet with a diameter of 3 meters appeared in his hands. The orange light shone everywhere, like a newborn sun, and the scorching heat it emitted seemed to boil the universe. Go to hell. Push Cooler downwards with force. Kakarot, hide. Hurry up. Seeing this, Bardock let out a heart-wrenching scream. His back was burning, but he was unaware of it. Boom. An airflow inexplicably appeared in the starry sky of the universe, the air pressure around it surged, and a terrifying momentum swept up. It's like the end of the universe. Very scary. Far away. Beerus relaxed his folded arms. The scene in front of him actually made him a little nervous. Bardock should be able to transform. Mainly the more Super Saiyan there are, the higher his universe ranking will be. Have no idea. Lewis frowned and he started to get nervous too. You all seem very nervous. Whis looked over and smiled. However, Lewis and the other man did not speak, staring straight ahead. Whis rolled his eyes and said, well, if nothing unexpected happens, Bardock will transform successfully. How do you know? Lewis and the other man looked over hurriedly. Lewis, I noticed that every time you transformed into a Super Saiyan before, a strong force would surge up your spine. Whis said calmly, Bardock is like this now. A strong force is gathering on his back. His reaction is exactly the same as yours. If nothing unexpected happens, he should be able to transform successfully. Although he does not have the terrifying physique of Lewis, he cannot use erasure. But as the master of gods of destruction, his eyesight is unmatched by ordinary people. He saw through the power in Bardock's back at a glance. Master Beerus, let's start watching the massacre of 3 Super Saiyans. Lewis clenched his fists and laughed. 2 Super Saiyans can't beat Cooler, what about 3 together? Universe starry sky. The huge orange energy bomb was descending faster and faster. No. Kakarot, Vegeta, hide quickly. Bardock's eyes were bloodshot, and his aura was getting stronger and stronger. The chaotic magnetic field around becomes even more chaotic. Hide quickly. Bardock became more furious when he saw that Son Goku and the other man still hadn't moved. The hair starts to shimmer. One gold and one black. Buzz. 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 Various energy media filled the universe and a deafening roar erupted from Bardock. Boom. Boom. Like a volcanic eruption, the powerful force unleashed by Bardock caught the attention of Cooler in the sky. Cooler couldn't help but tremble when he saw Bardock's shining hair. Another Super Saiyan. You too, go die. Cooler yelled, raised his hand, and gathered another giant energy bomb, throwing it at Bardock. Seeing this, Lewis shouted from a distance, "Whis, let Kakarot and the other two go." Whis did as he was told. Son Goku and the other man resumed their actions, looking at the brigade superstar energy bombs sticking to their faces and wanted to curse. But the two of them still used instant transmission and left the place first. The next second, the two giant energy bombs thrown by Cooler suddenly exploded. Boom. P.S. There will be another chapter later. Please give me a good review. Thank you all for the small gifts. Special thanks to Passing by Card Face Come Play for the character summons and inspiration capsules. Special thanks to the inspiration capsule, World, Seconds to Understand. Special thanks to Mengwu Buji for sending the reminder for update. Chapter 72 Senzu Beans. Two mushroom clouds with a radius of 10,000 meters suddenly appeared in the starry sky of the universe. The violent force that erupted made the universe and the starry sky crackle, as if it was about to break apart. This entire star field is brightly illuminated. Ha-hoo, ha-hoo. In the air, Cooler had been using all his strength when he and Son Goku were fighting with the other two, and he had just thrown two giant energy bombs in a row, which almost made him collapse from exhaustion. This is the time to die. Cooler looked at the two mushroom clouds and gritted his teeth. Damn Frieza, he actually left such a disaster to our frozen clan. This time when we enter the northern galaxy, we must completely exterminate the entire Saiyan clan. Cooler recovered a little strength, turned around, and prepared to return to his universe battleship. Sudden crash, crash, crash. In this vacuum filled with various energy media, three sounds of rising and falling flames were heard. Cooler's pupils shrank and he turned his head sharply, staring at the two mushroom clouds in front of him. Suddenly, one of the mushroom clouds suddenly spread out. Three figures shining with golden light appeared. Three Super Saiyans. No, impossible. Cooler's entire body was shaking. Those two attacks just now were all my strength. How come you were able to withstand them? It turns out that when Cooler threw two giant energy explosions, Son Goku and Vegeta instant transmission appeared next to Bardock, and the three of them worked together to block one of them. In front, Bardock was glowing with golden light. He looked at Cooler and said coldly, "Two Super Saiyans can't beat you, what about three?" Cooler, die. Son Goku and Vegeta shouted together, then charged at Cooler. Far away. The moment the three saw Bardock glowing with golden light, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, if nothing unexpected happens, Cooler is dead. Lewis looked at Beerus and smiled. Lord Beerus, my people killed your other agent. Is that okay? He stood aside, covering his mouth and laughing. Beerus was speechless and said, kill me if you want to. Can I refuse you what you want to do? Not to mention killing Frieza and Cooler, he would have no objection even if King Cold was killed as well. After all, with Lewis as the alternate gods of destruction, who needs an agent? What are you saying? Haven't I been standing here with you the whole time? I didn't do anything, so how can you say it was what I wanted to do? I don't know who asked Whis to take action. Beerus' face was full of black lines. Lewis put his hand on Beerus' shoulder and said with a naughty smile, I told you, I didn't do it myself, so how can you say that I wanted to kill Cooler? Beerus, how shameless. The battle ahead is very fierce. Son Goku has 300 million combat power. Vegeta's combat power is 250 million. Bardock becomes a Super Saiyan and breaks through to 200 million combat power. Cooler in his ultimate state has a combat power of 470 million. When facing two Super Saiyans before, Cooler was able to crush them. But he had to use all his strength to do this, and he had almost used up all the strength in his body when fighting with Son Goku. Cooler released two giant energy bombs and was basically exhausted. Now, three Super Saiyans besiege Cooler. As Lewis said, Cooler couldn't resist. Soon, Vegeta finds the perfect moment to break Cooler's limbs. Son Goku punches a big hole in Cooler's abdomen. When Bardock saw Cooler's ultimate state, he remembered the scene where he was by Frieza in his ultimate state. Then, Bardock is giving him a taste of his own medicine. Now that Frieza is dead, I'm going to take revenge on your eldest brother. He gathered an energy bullet and stuffed it into Cooler's mouth. Cooler's entire head exploded instantly, brain matter and blood mixed together and splattered everywhere. The brother of the Emperor of the Northern Galaxy universe had just stepped into the edge of the Northern Galaxy and was completely killed before he had time to occupy the territory. Son Goku and the other two turned into a golden light again and rushed towards the edge of the Northern Galaxy, killing all of Cooler's men. At this time, Lewis and the other two flew over here. Lewis, Vegeta and I couldn't move just now, what happened? Son Goku asked. Vegeta also looked at Lewis. I don't know either. Lewis smiled, and his smile was very mean. Vegeta glanced at Son Goku, then at Bardock, thinking. It seems that I was on Namek before. Suddenly, Lewis glared at him and Vegeta shuddered violently. He wanted to speak, but quickly shut his mouth. Lewis retracted his glare at Vegeta and looked at the blonde Bardock, smiling. Bardock, how about the power of a Super Saiyan? Bardock looked at his hands and blinked his evil eyes. Too strong, this power is really too strong. In the past, he thought that he was very strong with a combat power of 10,000, but now his combat power has exceeded 200 million. Ha ha ha, you'll be even stronger in the future. Lewis smiled. After all, Bardock and the other two are only in Super 1 state now, and there are also Super 2 and Super 3. At this time, Whis looked at Son Goku, frowned and asked, Mr. Goku, do you still have the bean from before? Why did Whis ask about Senzu bean? Everyone was a little confused, but Beerus was shocked because Whis had let slip that this bean was related to the former Grand Priest. When is there another former Grand Priest? Unlike Beerus, Lewis had already guessed Popovich's identity as an angel, but he never expected that Popovich was the former Grand Priest. Beans. Son Goku was also startled when he heard Whis' words, then he took out a Senzu bean from his pocket. Mr. Whis, you are talking about this, what's the matter? Yes, that's it. Whis took the Senzu bean in his hand, examined it carefully, and then shook his head. What a pity, it only works on mortals now. Lewis shook his head. In fact, when he first came to this world, he had planned to collect the Senzu beans. However, after awakening the system, he was taken in by Beerus as a candidate gods of destruction, and there is also the existence of Whis. He won't be so obsessed with Senzu beans anymore. Now that he heard that it only worked on mortals, Lewis was even less interested because he was now a god. Finally, Whis returned the Senzu beans to Son Goku. Whis' strange behavior puzzled Son Goku and the other two, but they did not ask too many questions. Kakarot, how many Senzu beans are left on Earth? Lewis finally spoke. There are still many. A lot of. Lewis was a little dumbfounded. He thought that all the Senzu beans on Earth had been eaten by Yajirobe. Yes, originally these Senzu beans were occupied by Akinobe. Later, when Vegeta came to Earth, he snatched them all away. Son Goku touched his head and smiled foolishly. So that's how it is. Lewis looked at Vegeta with an admiring look. Senzu beans are extremely important healing items for Z warriors, both in the early and late stages. In the anime, the later Z warriors wanted to break a Senzu bean into 10 pieces to eat. Unexpectedly, Vegeta has changed this situation now. Noticing Lewis's admiring gaze, Vegeta raised his chin slightly, revealing a tsundere look. He would definitely not allow that fat guy to destroy these magical beans. Chapter 73 Senzu Beans, Saiyan's Physique. In the starry sky of the universe, fragments of universe spacecraft and debris of planetary explosions can be seen everywhere. 3 golden flames are particularly conspicuous in the dark starry sky of the universe. Speaking of Senzu beans, Lewis thought of Saiyan's physique again. You should have noticed that when we Saiyan recover from near death, our strength will surge, right? Lewis looked at Vegeta and the other two and smiled. Perhaps you can use the Senzu beans. Seriously injure yourself, and then use Senzu beans to recover. Buzz. A light flashed across Vegeta and Bardock's minds. Since the last time they recovered from death, they discovered Saiyan's physique. Since we have the magic beans, why not use Senzu beans? Excited, ecstatic. Even Son Goku thought of this and said excitedly, Lewis, you are so smart. Not bad, not bad. You're half as smart as me now. Vegeta's lips curled up slightly. Bardock. This Vegeta kid must be crazy. Lewis ignored Vegeta and waved his hand. Okay, I don't recommend this method. There is no shortcut to cultivation. A method like this that suddenly gains powerful strength is bound to have its drawbacks. Just like himself, he had been practicing until he reached a bottleneck, and the system helped him break the shackles. As for erasing those things, didn't the system say that those powers originally belonged to him? These don't count. System. Lewis paused for a moment, then continued, you guys went to Yadrat to learn instant transmission. You haven't practiced your strength for a year, so maybe you can try this method. If Son Goku and the other person had practiced normally, perhaps their normal combat power would have already broken through to around 6 or 7 million combat power. Of course, it's better for you to use this method less often. Lewis finally spoke. In the next period of time, I will leave the 7th universe. The Earth and Saiyan will depend on you to protect them. At this time, Beerus next to him also spoke up and said lightly, it doesn't matter if your Saiyan race is extinct, but please don't let my Earth be destroyed. In Beerus's mind, even the entire Milky Way is not as important as the Earth. After all, the food on Earth is so delicious. Whis nodded, he thought so too. Seeing the reactions of Beerus and the others, Lewis rolled his eyes and said, I'm still here. Is it really okay to say that? Lewis, where are you going? Son Goku and the other two had wanted to ask why this training method couldn't be used more often. Don't worry about my business. Remember to practice well. Otherwise, with your current strength, you may not be able to protect the Earth. Lewis didn't mention Cell's matter, but his tone startled Son Goku and the other two. Unable to protect the Earth. Is the Earth in danger? Just wanted to ask. By the way, Burdock, you should know that it takes extreme anger to transform into a Super Saiyan. When the time comes, you can just go back to the galactic headquarters and teach your people. After that, Lewis and the other two disappeared. In the dark starry sky of the universe, only Son Goku and the other two were left. They looked at each other and saw confusion in each other's eyes. At this time, more than a dozen figures flew over from afar. They were Raditz and the others. Everyone saw Burdock's blonde state. Burdock, your hair. You became a Super Saiyan too. Father, did you transform into a Super Saiyan as well? King Kai Star. Cooler can't resist 3 Super Saiyans attacking at the same time. Too strong. The Saiyan clan has become so powerful. Seeing Cooler getting AB***********, King Kai was so excited that he started dancing on the spot. Supreme Kai World. Shin squatted on the ground, looking at the picture on the crystal ball, and shouted excitedly, Ancestor, there is another Super Saiyan. Calm down. Although the old Supreme Kai said so, his trembling body betrayed him. Looking at Burdock's blonde state in the crystal ball, the old Supreme Kai was actually quite excited as well. 1 or 2 Super Saiyans may not be enough to explain the talent of the Saiyan race. But it would be different if there were 4 Super Saiyans. In particular, one of the Super Saiyans is also the candidate gods of destruction of the 7th universe. Being a race of candidate gods of destruction, how bad could their talents be? With Saiyan, there are also alternate gods of destruction to carry out the mission of destroying the planet. The 7th universe will definitely develop better and better. The average human level index of the 7th universe may rise to the 1st place in the Xeno universe. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. The old Supreme Kai's face was flushed, which made Shin next to him stunned. Didn't he say he should stay calm? In this battle at the North Galaxy's edge, not only the old Supreme Kai was excited, Beerus was equally excited. He is the highest god in the 7th universe, although he has always been lazy and hardly manages the 7th universe. But he still hopes that his universe can become better. Especially after watching this battle. He saw the talent of the Saiyan clan. You can imagine what the scene would be like if more than 2,000 Super Saiyans circling together. That picture is so dazzling. At this time, Lewis, who left from the edge of the northern galaxy, returned to Earth. As for Beerus and Whis, they did not follow. They were waiting in the Gods of Destruction realm for Lewis to bring Tais back. Earth, Saito. Tais' room. It was afternoon, and bright sunshine shone into the room through the window. The atmosphere is a bit lazy. A gorgeous woman was lying on the bed, her big golden waves falling on the pillow, half folded up, her beautiful eyes closed. She parted her red lips and gave a soft call. Like Sleeping Beauty, full of endless temptation. With a swish sound, Lewis appeared here, and when he saw the charming woman on the bed, a hint of tenderness appeared in his eyes. Lewis came to the bed, lay down, and kept looking at Tais, who was sleeping soundly. Taisy's little mouth opened and closed, which was very cute. This scene made Lewis's heart melt. My heart moved. He stretched out his finger and gently touched Tais' little mouth. So warm, so soft. The warmth belonging to Ties was transmitted to Louis's heart through his fingertips. Sister Ties is so cute. Louis held his head with one hand and stared at Ties, who was sleeping. I couldn't bear it anymore and lowered my head. Gently kissed her red lips. So sweet. So sticky. As if she sensed something, Ties slowly opened her eyes and saw her big boy. Her eyebrows curved into crescents. Tazy closed her eyes again and responded. 10 minutes later. Tazy touched her little mouth and smiled sweetly. Why are you back? Did you defeat Cooler? Well, Kakarot and the others have defeated Cooler. Louis nodded, hesitant to speak. Tazy asked, what's wrong? Do you have anything else to say? I just wanted to ask you, do you want to go to other universes to play? Are you going too? Yes, Beerus, Whis and I will all go. Then I'm definitely going too. After saying that, Tazy added, I'll go wherever you are. Boom. His sister Ties said this, it's too foul, okay. I can't stand it at all. Louis felt an impulse surge in his body and rushed forward. Half a day later, the man and woman left the room and disappeared into the earth. There was only a strange smell left in the room. I'm a bit busy today, there will be another chapter later. Chapter 74 The Origin of the Former Grand Priest. In the space tunnel leading to the 6th universe, a cube was moving quickly with 4 people standing inside. Louis, why are you going to other universes? Tazy took Louis's arm. Remember those substitute gods of destruction who came to trouble us a few years ago? Now it's our turn to trouble them. Louis laughed. After being beaten up twice, I have to get back at him no matter what. Let's go fight, all right. Ties' eyes lit up. Since following Louis, she was also infected by his violence. Then I can find a lot of material for my novel. Ties smiled. She had a lot of inspiration from her previous trip to Namek with Louis. For example, Dragon Ball and the story of the Saiyan clan. These are all good materials. But, as Louis's wife, she naturally knew what to write and what not to write. Namek's Dragon Ball is something that cannot be written into a novel. Otherwise, the 7th universe, which had finally stabilized, would fall into endless disputes again. By the way, Lord Beerus, why did you ask Louis to look for me before? Tazy looked at Beerus again. Ties only now realized that Louis went to Earth to find her with Beerus' intention. He and Whis want you to cook for them. Louis snorted. I don't care about the two of them, just let them eat those instant noodles full of additives. No, you can let Lord Beerus eat instant noodles, but I want to eat the food made by Tazy. Whis made a sad face. Beerus was speechless, but Louis and Ties burst into laughter. The atmosphere in the shuttle cube was very pleasant, and everyone was chatting. After a while, there is still some distance to the 6th universe. Louis remembered something, and then looked at Whis. By the way, Whis, the former Grand Priest you mentioned before. The atmosphere inside the shuttle cube became a little subtle. Beerus looked at Whis, with doubt in his eyes. Ties looked up at Louis and then at Beerus, and the two had strange reactions. She asked curiously, what happened to you? Tazy's question received no answer, and the shuttle cube fell silent. The atmosphere is a bit solemn. Ties also noticed something was wrong, so she hugged Louis's arm tightly and stopped talking. After a while, just keep your mouth shut about what I'm going to say next, don't tell anyone else. Whis' voice was serious. He paused for a moment and spoke again. You should know that Xeno Universe and the Dark Demon Realm are hostile to each other. No. Louis and Beerus nodded. Tazy's eyes were wide open and she looked so cute and silly, I didn't know. However, she knew that now was not the time to speak, so she did not ask. Whis continued. In fact, at the beginning this world only had 3 spaces. Xeno Universe, Dragon Realm, and Time's Nest. That is to say, the Dark Demon Realm did not exist in the beginning. However, a long time ago, a powerful person in Xeno Universe suddenly fell into evil. After he left Xeno Universe, he opened up a new world outside. Whis said this. Louis blurted out, are you talking about the Dark Demon World Supreme Kite Mechi Capra? Why did Whis say this? Is there any relationship between Mech Capra and the former Grand Priest? You actually know Mechi Capra? Whis shook his head. He knew that Louis was special, so he didn't ask any more questions and continued, I'm not talking about him. Mech Capra is just his agent. Whis, the man you're talking about isn't Mech Capra, then who is he? And what's his relationship with the former Grand Priest? Beerus looked at Whis. He had never heard Whis tell him this secret before. I don't know the identity of that powerful man either. I only know that he seems to have some relationship with Master Zeno. Whis narrowed his eyes and said in a serious tone, as for the relationship between the former Grand Priest and that powerful man. Whis said word by word, the person the previous Grand Priest served was him. Boom. Whis's words were like a thunderbolt splitting the sky. Earth-shattering. This information is so shocking. Louis and the other man were shocked, and Whis was also shocked. He also knew this secret from his eldest sister before, but he never expected that the former Grand Priest actually lived on Earth. Louis swallowed his saliva. He had a guess in his mind. The person who could be served by the former Grand Priest, his identity. Beerus also thought of this and was stunned. The only people who can be served by Angel are either the gods of destruction or Zeno. The one served by the former Grand Priest. The fact that everyone couldn't calm down for a long time made Tazy next to them slightly stunned. She had no idea what Whis' words meant. At this time, the universe shuttle cube entered the 6th universe. Okay, remember not to spread this. We have arrived at the 6th universe. Whis came back to his senses and spoke. Beerus and the other two finally came to their senses from the shock of the world. Then Whis put away the universe shuttle cube and took them to the gods of destruction world in the 6th universe. The 6th universe gods of destruction realm. A purple animal that looks like a pig is running on a treadmill. Bardos, is that enough time? I'm almost dying of exhaustion. Master Champa, there is not enough time yet. There are still 10 minutes left. If you stop now, the weight loss effect will be greatly reduced. Royal Sister Bados walked with her long legs, swaying in front of the treadmill. Sudden, Bados raised his head and smiled. Why are they here? Who's here? Champa leaned on the treadmill, gasping for breath. Lord Champa, don't be lazy. Bados turned around. The air suddenly turned cold. Champa shrank his neck and continued running on the treadmill, not daring to rest at all. The main reason is that his servant Angel is so sinister. Right at this moment, a colorful stream of light appeared in the sky and suddenly landed in front of him. Skinny ribs. Champa was stunned. He didn't care about Vados's reaction and jumped off the treadmill. He asked coldly, "Why are you here?" He glanced at everyone, and when he saw Louis's figure, his eyelids twitched violently. Why is this kid here? Champa had received the news of Quitella's erasure long before. It was this kid in front of me who did it. Champa suddenly had a bad feeling. Louis, who is he? He looks like Lord Beerus, but a little fatter. Ties laughed. Beerus. Louis. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 75 Cute Champa. Just a little fat. Champa has always been at odds with Beerus. Ever since Beerus called him a fat pig, others have followed suit and called him a fat pig, a fat man. Sometimes even Bados calls him fat. Champa naturally couldn't stand it, so he proposed a duel with Bados. The kind that determines life and death, as well as superiority and inferiority. That's why there's that scene of running on the treadmill at the beginning. So, what Champa hates most in his life is being called fat. He had met this woman once on Earth, and she actually dared to call him fat. I can tolerate uncles, but I can't tolerate fat people. There was a cold murderous intent in the air. Ties shuddered suddenly and hugged Louis's arm tightly. Champa looked at Ties and said coldly, "How dare you be so disrespectful to the gods of destruction? Are you tired of living?" Louis stood in front of Ties, protecting her behind him, and said calmly, "Lord Champa, what's wrong? You don't want people to say anything when you're fat." When Champa saw Louis standing up for her, the murderous intent in him suddenly disappeared. But Louis was also calling him fat and he couldn't stand it anymore. Champa yelled, "What's wrong with me being fat? I'm fat and I'm proud of it. It's better than that skinny rib of Beerus." Beerus' face turned as black as ink. "I don't care if you say anything else, but if you mention skinny ribs, then I can't stand it either." A vast breath of destruction gushed out, and the 6th universe gods of destruction world trembled violently. Beerus stared at Champa, and as they stared at each other, a flash of fire seemed to appear in the air. Boom! Two destructive auras were confronting each other, and the scene was extremely terrifying. Whis and Bados looked at each other and covered their faces. Whenever these two brothers met, there would always be trouble. The Louis couple, who had started the trouble first, ran to the other side to watch the show. Tazy held a melon seed in her hand and cracked one. "Louis, who is this fat pig? Why does it look so much like Lord Beerus? My sister Tazy, can you please keep your voice down? You still complain that the fire is not burning bright enough. Lewis grabbed a handful of melon seeds from her hand and said, I told you before that the 6th universe and the 7th universe are actually from twin universes. It just so happens that the gods of destruction of the 6th universe are also the brothers of Lord Beerus. Brother. Yes. Twin universes. Brothers. One is fat and the other is skinny. Tazy's eyes lit up and she said excitedly, this is good material. I will write it into my novel. Sudden. You dare. Beerus and Champa turned their heads sharply and shouted towards Tazy. The two roars scared Tazy, and she threw all the melon seeds in her hand onto Lewis's head, and Lewis suddenly felt like crying but had no tears. Stop talking nonsense. Who is this woman? What do you want to do here? Champa looked at Beerus and the others, his voice extremely cold. How dare you say he is a fat man? If this woman had no connection to Beerus, he would have destroyed her. Beerus folded his arms and said jokingly, she is Lewis's wife, destroy her if you can. Quote. The air suddenly became quiet. Champa opened and closed his mouth, wanting to say something, but the words in his mind came to his throat and were swallowed back. Then I'll give Lewis a favor. Champa shrank his neck. The main thing is that Lewis can erase. The last person who offended Lewis has disappeared, and Champa doesn't want to be the next one to be wiped out. Then what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Have you forgotten the gang fight against Lewis a few years ago? Quote. Champa swallowed and took a few steps back. When talking about the gang fight against Lewis a few years ago, he gets angry. At that time, 10 substitute gods of destruction ganged up on Lewis, thinking they had a sure win and could taunt Beerus afterwards. Let you find a little brat to be the backup gods of destruction. Result. 10 substitute gods of destruction came together but still couldn't do anything to Lewis, and in the end they were severely mocked by Beerus. It's so embarrassing, I'm embarrassed even to my grandma's house. So you're bringing Lewis to trouble me now. Beerus, can you please be a human being? I am your brother. He wiped out Quitella. What if he wipes me out? Finally, Champa just yelled. As a human being. Beerus picked his nose and said in a sloppy manner, sorry, I'm a cat, not a human. Quote. Also, you said we were brothers, but when you called me skinny ribs, did you ever think that I was your brother? At this time, Beerus gave Lewis a look. However, on Lewis's side, Tiz was helping him remove the melon seeds from his head. Lewis turned his head and was stunned. Ah, what's wrong? Champa. Beerus. Soon, Lewis reacted and he burst out with a destructive aura, destroying the melon seeds on his head. His face straightened and he walked towards Champa. Da. Lewis's footsteps echoed in the quiet world of gods of destruction, and every footstep made Champa's heart twitch. Panic. Anxiety. It won't be erased. Champa's face turned pale and he became more and more nervous. You want to get back at me, I'll let my universe's alternate gods of destruction beat you up, okay. Champa's frightened look made Beerus laugh. Vados next to him also covered his face, how embarrassing. You are Beerus' brother. Given the relationship between Lewis and Beerus, how could he really attack you? I really want to beat him up. Champa saw Lewis getting closer and closer, and he saw Vados' murderous eyes again. Finished. Now he has really become a cute fat boy who is not loved by his grandma and uncle. Champa clenched his fists and yelled at Lewis, don't come over here. This fat guy is quite cute. Lewis tried hard not to smile, trying not to let the corners of his mouth rise, and said with a smile. I'm not interested in your candidate evil god right now. Lord Champa, please fight me. After the fight, I will never bother you again. Fight with me. Champa was stunned for a moment, then said weakly, you won't take this opportunity to erase me, will you? Quote. Lewis shook his head and said, given your relationship with Lord Beerus, you should know that I won't do anything to you. I came here mainly to compete with masters of the gods of destruction level. Chapter 76, Fighting with Champa. Getting back his position is one goal, and competing with other gods of destruction is another goal for Lewis. Whis said that if you want to become strong, you can't just practice all the time. If you keep practicing, your strength will certainly increase, but if you don't fight against other masters, you will lack combat experience and skills. Normally, with Lewis's erasure, he could ignore this. But what if he encounters an opponent of the same level or stronger than him? Others can ignore his erase, so this is when combat experience and skills come into play. Beerus also thought so. He had fought countless battles in his life, and his combat experience and skills were not comparable to those of ordinary gods of destruction. This is why Beerus can be called the strongest gods of destruction. During this, looking for a trip, Beerus asked Lewis not to use erase. Let Lewis and other gods of destruction have a real battle. Start from the 6th universe and continue to fight through all 11 Xeno-universes to accumulate combat experience and skills. It would be great if you were my candidate gods of destruction for the 6th universe. Champa shook his head upon hearing Lewis's request. Beerus was not happy, and he came up and pulled Champa's collar, angrily saying, "What, you are interested in my 7th universe's candidate gods of destruction, right? HMPH, let me go." Champa broke free from Beerus's hand. Lewis looked at Champa and smiled, "So Lord Champa, you. Okay, it's settled. I'm going to fight you, and that's it for the last time I gang beat you." Champa was still a little flustered. Although Lewis said he would not do anything to him, he was still afraid that Lewis would erase him. Soon, Champa suddenly realized Beerus' intention. "Bados, go, bring Kyle over here." Kyle, in the 6th universe, has the highest talent except for Hit, and was recruited by Champa as a candidate gods of destruction more than 10 years ago. Beerus must have wanted Lewis to spar with him to gain combat experience and skills. In that case, he would have to send his candidate bad god here to watch the battle between the 4th-level masters of the realm of God. Yes. Bados disappeared for a while, and soon reappeared, bringing back a universe man with a purple cat head. Like Champa, Kyle is also a cat breed. Also, both of them are fat, and Kyle has perfectly inherited all of Champa's advantages. Lewis. When Kyle saw Lewis, his body trembled violently, mainly because he still remembered the gang fight a few years ago. "Kyle, long time no see." Lewis nodded to Kyle. "This guy was among the group that beat him up last time. This guy's power is the same as the candidate gods of destruction in other universes, also the 2nd level of God realm power, and his dimension is at the level of Hades. But Lewis's current target is not Kyle, but Champa, whose power has reached the 4th level of the divine realm." Under the arrangement of Vados and Whis, a void battlefield appeared 10,000 meters in the sky. Lewis and Champa moved their bodies and both entered the void battlefield at the same time. Whis brought Tazy to the void battlefield. Vados, Beerus and Kyle followed closely behind. Inside the void battlefield, Champa said, "I have to say, Beerus is really lucky. I wish you were the candidate gods of destruction for my 6th universe." Champa said this twice, which shows how much he envied Lewis. Haha, Kyle is also very talented, Master Champa doesn't have to say that. Lewis moved his hands and feet on the empty battlefield, looked at Champa, and said with a smile, "Master Champa, if there is nothing else, then let's get started." Etc. What's wrong? Lewis stopped moving his hands and feet, a hint of doubt flashed in his eyes. "We agreed that you are not allowed to use erase." Quote. Lewis was speechless. "If I use erase on you, Beerus will become my enemy." "Don't worry. Okay, let's get started." As soon as Champa finished speaking, an aura of destruction emanated from both of them. Two destructive auras are confronting each other. The space suddenly distorted. On the edge of the void battlefield. Seeing this, Bados raised his eyebrows and said, "Lord Beerus, your universe's candidate gods of destruction has become even more powerful. In that competition, a few years ago, Lewis used all his strength but failed to break through to the realm of God." Bados knew that Lewis would transform, and now Lewis's normal strength was almost catching up with his previous strength after the transformation. "Haha, it's okay." Beerus smiled happily. In fact, he was also shocked. Lewis only went to the Earth Heaven twice, and after coming back, his strength at full strength broke through to the 2nd level of the God realm. "It's incredible." Tazy looked at the two people in the void battlefield and asked, "Whis, can Lewis win?" Naturally she wanted her older boy to win. However, Lewis's opponent is the long-established gods of destruction, and it is unknown whether he can defeat Champa. Whis said calmly, "Without erasure or other means, it will be difficult for Lewis to defeat Master Champa. If Lewis uses erase, then there will be no problem in defeating Champa. As for other means, for example, time and space rules. If you use these methods, you may not win, but you will definitely gain the upper hand." Just like when Beerus had just entered the state of freedom and was sparring with Lewis, Beerus was beaten in the balls by Lewis. Ah! Tazy opened her mouth wide. If Lewis lost, he would not be very sad. Inside the void battlefield. The void battlefield has been covered by the aura of destruction, and the powerful force squeezes through the space, making a crackling sound. Xiaobai and Lewis confronted each other like this, and the aura around them became more and more solemn. Sudden, Lewis moved. Seeing this, Champa, who was confronting him, shook his head, but the young man still couldn't keep his cool. Champa turned into a stream of light, flew behind him, clenched his fists, and punched forward. Space explosion. A black shadow suddenly appeared from the void and then fell backwards. After just one round, Lewis fell into a passive situation. But that's normal. In strength, Champa possesses the 4th level of divine power, and he also knows that Lewis can ignore any damage, so he uses all his strength. And Lewis has not yet transformed into a Super Saiyan. His normal strength only touches the 1st level of the realm of God, and he can't even reach the 2nd level of the realm of God. The speed possessed by this power is no match for Champa, and Champa easily captured Lewis's actions. In combat experience, if you strike first, you will be at a disadvantage. As soon as Lewis made his move, Champa sensed Lewis's intention, so he was able to counterattack easily. After all, no matter how fat Champa is, he is still a god of destruction. He has also fought countless battles and his combat experience is far beyond Lewis's reach. Chapter 77 Getting beaten will make you stronger. So strong. Lewis fell heavily on the void battlefield, jumped up like a carp, and twisted his neck and limbs. The joints are creaking. Lewis looked at the fat figure in the sky, and in just one round, he realized the gap between the two sides. As expected of the gods of destruction. Drink. With a loud shout, a golden light appeared on Lewis's body, his hair turned golden in an instant, and a purple aura of destruction wrapped around the outside. Gold and purple intersect. The endless light is dazzling. Super Saiyan full power. Dimension. God's dimension. Power. The 2nd level of God's realm. This was the power he had cultivated while practicing the rules of time and space in the spiritual time house. When the normal power touches the realm of God, it transforms into Super Saiyan full power, and the power directly breaks through to the 2nd level of the realm of God. Anyone who hides his abilities from a master at the gods of destruction level is a fool. Lewis burst out with all his strength, transformed into a stream of light, flashed through the void, and attacked Champa. Lewis's voice echoed in the void battlefield. Champa-sama, be careful. Are you using all your strength? Ha ha ha, come on. In the air, Champa licked his lips. He was a little excited to fight with this indestructible cockroach. Here we come. A destructive energy bomb hit, and the surrounding space suddenly became chaotic. With a bang, Champa raised his hand and punched out. The purple energy bomb was like a firework, shattered in an instant, and turned into points of light, falling from the ceiling. The picture is beautiful. But, with a crash sound, Lewis appeared behind Champa, raised his leg and swept it across, and the powerful force brought endless fierce wind into the void. Champa quick block. Boom. As if hit by a nuclear bomb, the 2nd level of power in the realm of God exploded. Champa's face changed slightly, and he suddenly moved back several hundred meters. Good boy. Just as Champa was stunned, Lewis disappeared again. But Lewis, who only had the power of the 2nd level of the realm of God, was still too slow. Even if Champa was distracted during the battle, he could still react. Champa twisted his body and suddenly disappeared. Bang, bang. For a moment, 2 balls of light are entwined in the sky. In just a moment, the two of them fought countless times. Bite, bite, bite. Immune, everything, all attacks bombarded Lewis, and the sound that erupted was a harsh sound. Endless light bloomed, making it impossible for people to open their eyes. 2 phantoms fell from the sky to the ground, and the energy aftermath of the battle spread in all directions like a flood. Space distortion. Magnetic field chaos. 10 minutes passed. Champa became more and more frightened as he fought. During these 10 minutes or so, Lewis was like a sponge, madly absorbing the sea water. Lewis's combat experience and skills increased rapidly. Not that Lewis hadn't trained Lewis in fighting skills before. The main reason was that Lewis's previous strength was too weak. In the past, Lewis only had a combat power of 75 billion, which was still at the mortal level. Whis' training of Lewis's fighting skills was limited to the level of candidate gods of destruction. Because the gods of destruction level fighting skills were too big a leap for Lewis. Who would have thought? In the following years, Lewis only went to heaven twice, and his power skyrocketed to the second level of the realm of God. This caught Lewis off guard. On the edge of the void battlefield. The two men were still fighting inside, and Lewis's growth was visible to the naked eye. Seeing this, Kyle swallowed his saliva. My God, this guy is still a human being. Not only was Kyle shocked, but Vados's knuckles turned white as she punched the staff's hand. In fact, a few years ago, Vados and other angels went to Xeno Palace to meet the Grand Priest. She also knew that Louise had a special identity and was even related to Xeno. But, only a few years later, Lewis's power broke through to the second level of the divine realm. Now, after only fighting with Champa for more than 10 minutes, his fighting skills and experience are almost catching up with Champa himself. Whis, your Lewis is so awesome. Vados opened his little mouth wide. Hearing this, Tazy pouted and said, whether my Lewis is powerful or not is none of your business. Ha ha ha, this kid has always been so perverted, I'm used to it. Whis smiled. It's just so. Beerus folded his arms, hummed a little tune, and was in a very good mood. No one even asked you how you were. The corners of Whis and Vados' mouths twitched slightly. Soon, everyone's attention shifted to the void battlefield again. Inside the void battlefield, the destruction costume on Lewis has been torn, revealing his strong muscles. Champa had no injuries. From this we can see that Lewis was unilaterally crushed. Up in the sky, the two looked at each other and entangled with each other again. Bang! A fist smashed into Lewis's face. Open black lens bracket immunity close black lens bracket. Lewis ignored the damage but was sent flying backwards. A purple light streaked across the sky and quickly caught up with Lewis, only to see a fat figure beating Lewis madly. While being beaten, Lewis found an opportunity and punched Champa in the face. Boom! Champa's face twisted instantly, and a cat tooth flew out of his mouth. Lee Nine-Eyes. Champa was furious and chased Lewis madly. Boom! The purple aura of destruction rolled wildly, like waves in the ocean, one wave after another madly hitting the barrier of the void battlefield. Another 10 minutes passed. Lewis's battle thinking has been able to keep up with his long-established gods of destruction. It was only because of the difference in strength that Lewis was unable to pose a threat to him. After Champa finally knocked Lewis away again, his heart was beating wildly. Oh my God, what a freak. Ha 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 ha, what a joy. Champa-sama is coming again. Lewis's power is actually weaker than Champa's. Compared with the power of the second level of the realm of God and the fourth level of the realm of God. Although the span is still huge. After all, in the realm of God, each level of power is vastly different. But, the second level of power in the realm of gods already belongs to the category of candidate gods of destruction level, and is qualified to comprehend the combat skills of gods of destruction level. The main point is, if other gods of destruction substitutes fight against Champa, they will be destroyed on the spot by Champa. But this guy is Lewis. Lewis can ignore any damage, and can improve his fighting skills by getting hit. Lewis was knocked into the air, he put his hands together, and a purple light began to flash. The air pressure around rose rapidly, and the entire void battlefield was like a pressure cooker. Destroy. Crash. The sky is full of purple light, gorgeous and dazzling. Good boy. Champa was grinning, but one of the cat teeth in his mouth was missing. His aura suddenly surged, he raised one hand, and his lips moved slightly. Destroy. Buzz. Between heaven and earth, two destructive rules collided with each other. An overwhelming aura of destruction spread out, as if it was going to burst the void battlefield. Next second, two rule-breaking collides. A ray of white light was produced at the center of the collision, as if chaos was shattered, wherever the white light passed, everything was annihilated. Bombardment. Champa's rule breaking is so terrifying that the two Lewis's rule breakings can crush him back. What a terrifying power. Looking at the rule breaker coming up, the veins on Lewis's hands were bulging, and the power of his whole body was gushing out crazily. I used all my strength, but still no effect. Sudden. Master Champa, I can't beat you. Lewis laughed, his eyes moved, and he gave up the fight with Champa on the rules. Looking at the rule breakers coming at him, Lewis remained calm. Chapter 78 Peach Explosion. Do you want to use the ability to ignore any damage to withstand this attack? This was the first thought of Champa and Kyle and Bados on the sidelines. But Beerus and Whis at the edge of the void battlefield covered their mouths and laughed. Bados frowned and asked, "What are you laughing at?" "No, I just thought of something funny," Whis said, and burst into laughter again. Beerus laughed too. Vados, Kyle and Tazy were confused, and Vados was about to ask more questions. Sudden, a voice was heard in the void battlefield. "Time goes back. Buzz." The vast rules of time gushed out from Lewis, covering the entire void battlefield. The destructive rules blasted by Champa were receding, and the air pressure in the void battlefield suddenly subsided. How is this possible? Outside the void battlefield, Vados was stunned. Kyle's breathing was rapid, his pupils full of disbelief. When did Lewis understand the rules of time? What's that? There will be something even more exaggerated later. Beerus' tone was full of joking. He had been beaten before under Lewis's time rules. I get angry every time I think about it. But that B**************** D. Lewis is also going to take action against Champa, which is really exciting. He won't be the only one who gets his balls ripped off from now on. Just at this moment, inside the void battlefield. Space travel. Time went back to the time when the two had not yet fought each other and broken the rules. Lewis waved his hand, created a space crack in the space, and he jumped in. The next second he appeared in front of Champa on the opposite side. Peach explosion. Lewis lowered his hand, condensed an energy bomb and pressed it under Champa. Ah! Champa covered his crotch and made a heart-wrenching sound. Then, like a kite with its string dropped, Champa fell straight down. Champa fell onto the empty battlefield, foaming at the mouth and his body twitching. Seeing this, Beerus and Whis on the sidelines supported each other and laughed so hard that they were out of breath. I'm almost laughing crazy. Vados, Kyle and Tazy only realized later that these two guys knew what was going to happen. Finally, looking at Champa who was still twitching in the void battlefield, Tazy couldn't help but laugh. Kyle and Vados also wanted to laugh, but Champa was the gods of destruction of the sixth universe, so they had to hold it back. His whole face turned red. It can be seen how hard it is to hold back. In the air, Lewis was gasping for breath. Seeing Champa's miserable state, he grinned, "You were the one who kept beating me up just now." In fact, Lewis's fighting skills only increased to this level because he was constantly beaten up by Champa. After all, there is still a huge gap between the power of the second level of the realm of God and the fourth level of the realm of God. It was because of Lewis's immune physique that he was able to survive Champa. This competition ended in such a farce. As Whis said before, if Lewis didn't use wipes or other means, he would not be able to defeat Champa. Finally, Lewis used the rules of time and space to instantly reverse the situation. Half a day later, in front of the Gods of Destruction Palace, there are all kinds of food, drinks, and fruits. Tiz was cooking the feast and Lewis was helping. At the dining table next to him, Champa sat on a chair, looking at Lewis's back with a resentful look on his face. Champa gnashed his teeth and said, "Skinny ribs, this be ************************************************ D, when did you understand the rules of time and space?" Lewis relied on these two rules to sneak attack his, Peach, and made him look bad. It's really a shame. Bados and Kyle, who were standing next to them, covered their mouths and laughed, but when they heard Champa's question, they quickly pricked up their ears. "You fat pig, I told you not to call me skinny ribs." Beerus didn't even look at Champa. He picked up a cup of pudding from the table and poured it into his mouth. "Just a while ago. Then can Lewis fuse these two forces?" Bados blurted out. "After the fusion of time and space rules, we get time and space rules." "It's okay." Whis ate ice cream and glanced at Beerus, then smiled and said, "Lord Beerus has made a new breakthrough because of Lewis's rules of time and space. When Lewis came back from heaven, he used the rules of time and space to create a time house, and Beerus broke through to the state of freedom in it." As soon as Whis finished speaking, the air became deathly silent. Champa turned his head sharply and looked at Beerus intently. "There is a new breakthrough. What's the meaning? Could it be that he broke through from the fifth level of the realm of the God of Power to the angel realm?" Vados also looked at Beerus, observed for a while, and finally discovered something. Vados swallowed his saliva. "Master Beerus, you. Isn't it just a small state of freedom? Even Lewis can do it, why can't I?" Beerus waved his hand. Beerus looked calm on the surface, but the raised corners of his mouth and the tail that was raised high behind him betrayed him. Obviously, Beerus is very proud of himself for having realized the state of freedom. Impossible. Champa's pupils shrank sharply, and he pointed at Beerus. I don't believe you must be lying to me. The state of freedom is at the level of angel. He would rather believe that Beerus likes to eat shit than believe that Beerus can realize the state of freedom. If it's true, it would be more painful than killing him. Seeing Champa's unbelievable expression, Beerus grinned and laughed happily. In addition to regaining his position, he came to the sixth universe mainly to show off in front of the fat pig. Now Beerus is feeling very happy and excited. You don't believe it, do you? Beerus glowed with silver light, his entire body became agile, and he instantly disappeared from his seat. The next moment he appeared beside Champa and hit him hard on the head. Do you believe it now? Ouch. Champa covered his head, his eyes blazing with anger. Skinny ribs, I want to fight you one-on-one. Master Champa, please finish your feast first and we can fight again later. At this time, Lewis and Ties came over with the prepared food. Even before anyone arrived, the tempting aroma of the food had already spread over here. Champa and Beerus' noses were twitching like crazy, and the two brothers were like puppies, with their eyes narrowed and their tails wagging. Lewis brought the tempura, sushi, octopus balls, etc. prepared by Ties to the table. Beerus turned into a silver light, moved away from Champa, and instantly returned to his original position. When Ties brought the last dish, the two Beerus brothers used all their strength to quickly pick up the dishes on the table. Woo woo woo. I finally got to eat Earth's delicious food again. So delicious. Why is there no such delicacy in my sixth universe? I ate it once and I will never forget it. What will I do without it in the future? As Champa was eating, tears started to well up in his eyes. He looked as pitiful as he could be. Chapter 79 The True Strength of the Dark Demon Realm. The state of freedom, the rules of time, the rules of space, erase. Why? Champa kept stuffing food into his mouth and glanced at Kyle next to him. It's okay that my candidate gods of destruction isn't as strong as Lewis. Both are twin universes, but my sixth universe doesn't have Earth yet. The most abominable thing is that this skinny guy has realized the state of freedom. Champa became angrier and angrier as he spoke. He stuffed a few more octopus balls into his mouth and said angrily, why does this skinny guy always get all the good things? Taya, your cooking is so delicious. How about I destroy Kyle and you stay in my sixth universe as a substitute gods of destruction? Champa turned his head again and looked pitifully at Ties who was next to Lewis. Kyle, who was eating next to me, rolled his eyes and said, I'm still here. Is it really okay to say that? Lord Champa, shut up. Vados said unhappily. It was really unlucky to have to deal with such a gods of destruction. Well, I was just joking. Champa shrank his neck. This tigress is so fierce. Champa remembered something and asked hurriedly, by the way, Tazy, do you have any instant noodles? Instant noodles are the most delicious thing he has ever eaten. Quote. At the dining table, everyone's faces were filled with gloom. When will this fat guy ever stop? Finally, Beerus couldn't stand it anymore and threw a universal capsule to Champa, which was full of instant noodles given to him by Lewis. The fat man finally showed a satisfied smile. At this time, Vados looked at Luis, why did you do that to Quitella? For a moment, the atmosphere at the table became subtle. The two fat guys, Champa and Kyle, stared at Lewis closely. They received news some time ago that the fourth universe had a new gods of destruction, who was killed by Lewis using the erasure. Erase. That is the supreme law. Only priests are qualified to comprehend this power. I didn't expect Lewis to have learned it. But Champa and Kyle were both confused as to why Lewis wanted to kill Quitella. Lewis picked up the napkin, wiped the corners of his mouth, glanced at Champa and the other two, and then looked at Beerus next to him. Beerus nodded. The meaning is very clear, that is, this fat guy is one of us and there is nothing to worry about. Lewis was relieved. Yes, even though Beerus and Champa quarrel every day, in fact, the brotherhood between these two guys is deeper than anyone else. After that fight, Quitella attacked me, and then he colluded with the Dark Demon Realm. Lewis spoke slowly. At the table, everyone held their breath and listened to Lewis's story. Lewis tells it all. Ties' heart was beating wildly. She didn't expect that her Lewis had encountered so many things. This damn rat actually attacked you. Champa stood up from his chair, his eyes turned cold and he said, but it's true. With that damn rat's sinister character of revenge, he will not tolerate the appearance of a genius like you in the 7th universe. After all, Beerus and he have always had a grudge. In fact, it's not just Beerus and Quitella who have a grudge against each other. He and Quitella also have many minor frictions. Cats and mice are born to be incompatible. Champa sat down on the stool and looked at Lewis. I didn't expect you to go to the Dark Demon realm. Glancing at Whis, Champa continued, you're really lucky to have escaped from the Dark World. Good luck. Without Demi-Cooler, the Dark World is nothing. I have the eraser in my hand, and Whis is giving me milk. Whoever comes will die. Lewis rolled his eyes. Besides, there is Miss Kess to save us. This is not an exaggeration. With Whis around, he is a perpetual motion machine, and even masters at Angel's level can't stop him from erasing. Lewis, you underestimated the Dark Demon world. Bados shook his head. Even if there was no Demi-Cooler, if you really caused a big commotion in the Dark Demon realm, it would be difficult for you to get out safely after my eldest sister went there. The Dark World has always been the mortal enemy of Xeno Universe. The Dark Demon realm knows how many powerful people there are in the Xeno Universe, and the Xeno Universe also knows how many powerful people there are in the Dark Demon realm. In the Dark Demon realm, besides Demi-Cooler, there are 4 other demons. The power of each demon god is at the level of a priest. In addition to this, including Putin, there are another 11 angel-level masters. Yes, Lewis, you still underestimate the Dark Demon world. Beerus took a sip of his drink and looked at Lewis. I didn't tell you about the Dark World before because I didn't want you to be exposed to it too early. I didn't expect you to go into the Dark World with Whis. After saying that, Beerus glared at Whis. Whis stuck out his tongue. He thought Lewis would just kill someone and leave. Who could have thought that Lewis would make such a big fuss? Lewis was stunned when he heard what Beerus and Vados said, and looked at Whis. Whis, is it true? Lord Beerus and my sister are right. We were able to leave the Dark Demon realm safely before. Something must have happened in the Dark Demon realm. Whis nodded, and he told all the masters of the Dark Demon realm, and finally said, it is very likely that the other demons have entered a deep sleep, so my eldest sister went there, and we had a chance to escape. Whis's guess was correct, the other demons in the Dark World were in a deep sleep. Gurgle. Lewis swallowed, his back already wet with sweat. There are actually 4 other demon gods in the Dark Demon world, and each of them has the power of a priest. Unlike angel level, masters at the priest level are able to ignore the erasure of his prototype and conceal him permanently. Are you scared now? Don't be so reckless next time. Whis smiled. In fact, he was just trying to scare Lewis. It's not that those masters in the Dark Demon world are fake, but that even if his eldest sister didn't go, they could still escape from the Dark Demon world. Because the person he was shaking at that time was his father, but his father did not come, but his eldest sister came. Now that his father knew about it, they would be fine. You know, his father's power is far more than just a priest level. After you came back from the Dark Demon realm, I originally planned to have you quickly cultivate your strength to the divine realm, and then hone your combat skills. After all, the Dark World has set its sights on you. Whis looked at Lewis meaningfully, who knew that after you went to the heaven twice, your power broke through to the 2nd level of the God realm. Heaven. Everyone was confused. What is heaven? Champa and the others don't know what the heaven is, but Beerus has learned about the previous Grand Priest from the Senzu Beans. The former Grand Priest lives in the heaven. Chapter 80 Vados's teachings. Amid everyone's puzzled looks, Whis changed the subject. Lewis, your power has broken through to the 2nd level of the God realm, and you are being targeted by the Dark Demon realm again. I agree with your and Beerus Sama's proposal for the Xeno Universe Challenge Tour this time. You and Master Champa only fought once, and your fighting skills and experience have greatly improved. If you challenge the remaining 9 universes, you will definitely improve even more in all aspects. Normally, without Xeno's order, the gods of destruction and the alternate gods of destruction cannot leave their original universe for too long. First, this is to avoid the absence of gods of destruction, which would cause accidents to happen to the Supreme Kai in the universe, in which case gods of destruction would suddenly die. Secondly, it is to avoid conflicts between the gods of destruction of the 2 universes. After all, those who can become gods of destruction will not have good tempers. But Lewis's situation was different now, and his eldest sister and Grand Priest did not stop him. That's why Whis agreed to Lewis's challenge trip. Etc. Champa spoke. At the table, everyone turned to look at Champa. Lewis asked, "What happened to Master Champa?" Champa took a sip of his drink and looked at Lewis with resentment on his face. "Go on the Xeno Universe Challenge Tour. Why do you want to challenge my 6th universe first? Also, are you taking me as your experience pack?" Thinking of something, Champa covered his crotch again, which still hurt a little. Quote. Lewis shrank his neck. This fat guy was a little cute. He couldn't bear to say that this was the truth. Lewis had no choice but to wink, glancing at Beerus out of the corner of his eye. "I mean, Lord Beerus told me to do this." Champa noticed Lewis's look and was stunned. When he realized what was going on, he suddenly became furious. "You skinny B******************, it's fine that I don't get a chance to have good things happen, but now you let your Lewis bully me first." Champa disappears from the table. He instantly appeared in front of Beerus and grabbed him by the neck. Still angry, Champa showed his teeth with a cold look and bit Beerus' ear. "Ah, you're crazy, fat pig." Next second. Bang, bang, bang. The two cats started fighting at the dining table. Everyone else knew that the way these two brothers got along was weird, so they turned a blind eye to it. The group chatted a lot more, mostly with Lewis asking questions about cultivation. Kyle, as the candidate gods of destruction of the 6th universe, listened from the side and asked questions from time to time. There are 2 angels here, and they answer Lewis and Kyle's questions one by one. At the level of gods of destruction, the power used is the power of gods. Lewis did a great job in this regard. Kyle's dimension is only at the level of Hades, and is still far from the Kai King dimension. If you want to have a qualitative breakthrough, you must first cultivate your dimension to the Supreme Kai level, which is also known as the Divine Dimension. At this point, Vados looked at Lewis again. "Now that Kyle has finished his questions, it's your turn. Lewis, when you just fought with Master Champa, you should have also realized the gap between yourself and the real gods of destruction, right?" Lewis nodded and tried to speak. Vados continued, "The strength of the gods of destruction is not just in their fighting skills and experience. You and Master Champa only fought once, but you were able to learn so much from it so quickly. Your talent is truly unrivaled in the world." At the dining table, Kyle, who was concentrating on eating, heard this, glanced at Lewis, and then shook his head. Maybe he was a little unwilling to accept it before, but now he can no longer be unwilling to accept it. After all, others can even kill the gods of destruction, but what about him? Gods of destruction is strong in 2 important aspects. Vados's voice was very light, pure power and mastery of rules. You are able to ignore any damage. If it weren't for this, with your power at the 2nd level of the divine realm, you wouldn't be able to take even a punch from Master Champa. This is pure power. As for the rules, if the rules of breaking that Master Champa knows are like an ocean, then the rules of breaking that you know are like a small stream at best. I'm sure you discovered this when you fought Master Champa. What I want to say is that, in addition to breaking the rules, your time and space rules are not strong enough. Vados's explanation made sense, but when it came to the rules of time and space, they were not strong enough, and Lewis frowned. Whis noticed Lewis's expression and said, "Lewis, you don't really think that your rules of time and space are already very strong, do you?" Lewis asked in confusion, "You've said before that I have a better grasp of the rules of time and space than you do. When I was sparring with Champa and Master Beerus, I relied on these 2 moves to gain the upper hand. Isn't that powerful? On Earth, he relied on these 2 rules to sneak attack Beerus' egg. In the previous fight, he relied on these 2 rules to sneak attack Champa's egg. Your grasp of the rules of time and space is indeed better than mine. This is the truth." Whis glanced at Lewis and said calmly, "But do you dare to say that you can defeat me with only these 2 rules? How is it possible to defeat an expert at the 2nd level of Angel Realm using only the rules of time and space? This is definitely unbeatable." Lewis shook his head. The only threat he could pose to Angel now was the move of erasure. "That's right." Whis picked up the napkin and wiped the corners of his mouth. "In fact, you were able to gain the upper hand in the previous competition with Lord Beerus because of the effect of surprise. The same is true when you fight Master Champa. There are many factors that affect the outcome of a battle, in addition to strength and fighting skills. There are also surprise attacks, which can also affect the outcome of the battle. To put it bluntly, you only managed to turn the tables in the sparring just now because you sneak attacked Master Champa." Whis spoke without mercy. Vados smiled and said, "Whis is right. If Lord Champa knew that you knew the rules of time and space, you would be in trouble." "Why?" There were 2 question marks in Lewis's eyes. At the dining table, the 2 brothers were still fighting, and Kyle and Ties also looked at Vados. Here we have to go back to the question of strength. There is a saying that goes, one force can break all laws. Vados glanced at Champa, who was fighting with Beerus, shook his head and said, in fact, the power of the 4th level of the God realm can already interfere with your time rules. That is to say, if Master Champa knew in advance that you knew these rules, you would not be able to reverse Master Champa's time at all. Vados paused, then said calmly, unless Lord Champa doesn't resist. Ah. Lewis was stunned and looked at Whis. Whis, is this true? Whis nodded. Yes, with the strongest power, let alone the rules of time, even if you break the rules, or even erase them, others can ignore it. Hearing this, Lewis swallowed. He also remembered the plot in the Super Anime, where Frieza was hit by destructive energy, but relied on his powerful strength to break free from the destructive energy. Let me try. Lewis didn't believe it and waved his hand at Whis. A time rule acted on Whis, causing his time to go backwards. Whis smiled, and the power of the 2nd level of Angel Realm trembled slightly. Snap! It was like glass falling to the ground, making a crisp crackling sound. The silver light suddenly disappeared. Lewis's pupils shrank sharply. He could feel that his time rules were being blown up by a powerful force. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.